Palestinians be nicer as I'm kicking them in the balls? Why do they have to yell at me? I don't know, you just don't get Israeli passion if you don't think we're calm.
I guess I just don't. That's another thing I don't understand about Israel.
Is that too much to ask? No jihad?
Let's say you have an Israeli military jeep, okay, and it's going to the West Bank, and you have a Palestinian. He throws like a Molotov cocktail at it. Is that jihad in your mind?
I'm happy Jews went through the Holocaust so we can Holocaust other people. I think that was a very good idea, okay?
There is a cycle of violence. Hold on, Kate. There is a cycle of violence.
You said there's a cycle of violence. Do you think both sides have equal ability or equal obligation to break that cycle?
Like for me, I don't see any solution that can happen. I'm like very skeptical of anything that can solve this one-state solution. I mean, sure, in the peace, in like the future where there's like peace and prosperity, like there's no anti-Semitism, everyone is like the same people, like the same skin color. Yeah, we can do a one-state solution. Today, like nobody would nobody would want, like not a single Jew would want well, not but you know, vast majority of Jews would not want a one-state solution.
Just quick question. So would it not be fair to then say that it's very convenient for you that you're the dominating force who isn't being oppressed, so you can just wait it out because you don't see any solution, because you don't have to worry about that, because you'll be fine?
Yeah, somewhat convenient, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think that sucks.
A position of power is, it's more convenient than to be like not in the position of power. But I think you should take like both sides accountable. You're like,
no,
you don't think like Palestinians that like want to cause violence, but we should just like say that, oh, they're just oppressed, so you know, them causing violence, it's like fine, it's just natural. You don't think like we should strive for like more steps and like to try and like prevent
I think the best way to prevent people from wanting to kill you is not oppressing them by putting them in cages.
Okay, but let's say we remove checkpoints, right? We remove like
that's not what I said.
Okay, so what do we do? Tell me, what should we do?
Give them a state and give it money and help them build it.
Okay, we're giving them a state, giving them money, they keep like terrorist attack keep happening, then what?
Then you can bomb them, okay?
Okay, and then more terrorists will come, and like it will just keep going. Now they have a state. Now they have better.
No, honey, I'm giving you my permission. If you give them a state, give them money, and you spend 20 years helping them reform the country, and they still attack you, you can nuke them. I permit this for you.
Wow. Okay, I don't think
that.
I don't think that's what we're gonna do. But
in a video game,
like, yeah,
of course, in a video game.
Do you understand that? Like it's like a huge, like you're taking like our security as the gamble. Like you're saying, okay, we're gonna put our security on the line. We're gonna hope that the Palestinians are gonna like be fine with it and give them a state and everything. We're just gonna put our security on the line, see what happens. 20 years doesn't work out. Well, you know what? I guess I was wrong, guys.
Dying. Your security is already on the line. It's just that now you're fine with your security being compromised because you get to cope about having a Jewish state to protect you when it doesn't fucking protect you.
The situation with Gaza where they have like hundreds of rockets and we need to invent like a very specific missile defense system for that purposes. It's like a very like an insane place to live. Like we had to build like underground like so much protection because because we withdrew from Gaza. In retrospect, withdrawing from Gaza was a huge mistake, right? Our security, like everyone who lives around Gaza,
I'm sorry, what's your name? Thongs? Do I call you War or do I call you Thongs? Like how do
you can just call me War Thongs.
That's really hard for me. How do you? I don't know. That's really uncomfortable for. Okay,
War Thongs. Why? It rolls off the tongue.
It does not roll off the Israeli tongue. Come the fuck on. That. I don't know what tongue you have. Okay, so I have no doubt that the security of Israeli Jewish people is the most important thing for you. Unfortunately, I care about human rights more than securing some people's human rights. So,
You know what's
Um,
the number one human right? Like in general, like what's the number one human right?
safety of body, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then and that trumps over other human rights, right? So if we'd go and we kill Palestinians like daily, um,
Which you do, then what?
Ooh.
by me she means like the Israeli government, but like it's
Yes,
fine.
of course. I don't mean you specifically. I don't know what you do in your day-to-day life.
Oh, I developed high precision missiles in for that.
Lol.
No, no,
Straight into
I'm
Gaza
joking.
buildings hosting journalists. Yeah.
Sorry, we're
No.
okay. We're getting a bit like so much focus here. I think
Yeah.
Beast Process
Sorry.
wants to jump in, so maybe
Sure.
Katie, you might have to chill for that one because I don't want this to be a fucking dog pile. But so Katie, you said you wanted to give them a state and give them money, and I guess just keep the nukes close. I suppose war thongs.
Well,
Let's say
to
you.
be fair, wait,
I'm
let
joking.
me clarify this.
Okay. All right.
Because your chat took that seriously. I literally lost points. Someone was keeping my score and they like deducted points for me. I
Yeah.
obviously think that solution is going to work very well. I think that like it makes sense that there'll be lasting animosity. But to say that that wouldn't significantly reduce the animosity is ridiculous. Obviously, I think it would work, so it was a meme.
I mean, Serbs and Kosovars fucking hate each other, but they still have their borders, you know?
Yeah, Pakistan and India hate each other, but they still have their borders.
Okay.
You know, like let's chill.
War thongs, you're in. So, okay, what's your. You are you just kind of doomer about it? Or you just like wait
No,
it out
I
and
guess
hope for the best? Or?
yeah. I guess so. First of all, I don't like. Sure, if I had like omnipotent power and what I can do, like I would do something not so far away from Kate. Like I would not. It won't be that far away. Yes, it will be like a peace process. It will be like long steps. First of all, like changing the education system, like in Palestine, like trying to like, you know, I don't. The thing is, Palestinian Authority did not have like full, like even the power to do that. So it would be insane. It would be like we need to strengthen the Palestinian Authority first, change the education. It will take tens of years. Then yeah, give them a state, like remove some settlements, keep the big ones. Have like NATO assurance, like literally, like have NATO assurance that if Israel's get attacked, like NATO will respond with Israel, like together against Palestinians, like against like this new state that will be formed.
And the other way
Just
around,
put,
right?
like,
Also,
at the border.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Have like assurances from like another Arab state that they will like help, like protect Israel. Like Israel will not even lift a finger, I suppose. Like it will be like the job of other people if that's what's gonna be like.
Just
to
quick
protect
question, because
this borders.
I assume you're not religious, right? From what I'm hearing from you. So
I eat kosher, but yeah.
oh, okay, that's interesting. How would you feel about making Jerusalem an international city?
Pretty bad about it. I view Jerusalem as the like historic capital of Israel. Yeah, it's very important, like for like even if you're a secular Jew and like you don't believe, like there's a lot of history in Jerusalem, and like having it like like Tel Aviv becoming your capital and like Jerusalem just becoming in the like an international city. That's not like I don't like an East Berlin like West like what the Soviets wanted to do with Berlin kind of solution.
Okay, but you'll be okay giving at least East Jerusalem back?
Yeah,
or no?
Parts
of
back.
it. Okay.
I'm not back, but giving is parts of East Jerusalem, yes. Because back
What do you-
would be giving it back to Jordan.
Oh, come the fuck. Okay.
Jesus.
Loner, you wanted to bring someone in. Do you need me to dip out? Like, what do you want me to do?
Unless you want to stay around to listen, you can just help me moderate. I think he probably wants to fight with war thongs, not you.
Okay, then I'd like to stay if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
I'll just.
My
I'll
mortal enemy.
Okay, let's go.
Am I in?
Yeah, you're in.
Hello.
You have to meet your stream, I guess, or your. Okay.
All right. First, I'd like to have both sides introduce themselves to me, just so I get the idea, the gist of who I'm talking to. I kind of hopped in at the last second here.
Okay, I'm Warfongs. I am. I
We
guess-
spoke.
Yeah. Okay. So you know me. You remember me. I'm like a
Unfortunately.
centrist. Yeah, I'm like a centrist, like maybe a bit left-leaning Jew.
Right.
Okay.
Katie?
Katie?
The other side? Hello?
Katie. Okay. She left the fucking room. Sorry. All right.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she's like
She's like
not on
an.
camera.
I'll introduce her. She's like a very anti-Zionist, liberal, naive Jew.
Naive.
Yeah.
I mean, she can introduce herself. Okay.
I'm joking. Come on.
No, she's back. She's back. Okay, she's back.
Back. What happened? You want to fight me?
No,
Please.
just-
Do you want? Oh.
he wants you to introduce yourself.
I asked you to introduce yourself, and Warthongs took the opportunity to, and he called you naive.
Oh, that's cute. I think he's full of copium. So there you go. We both have disagreements.
Right. Okay. I want everybody to calm down for a second.
We're calm. Are we not calm? Warthongs, are we not calm?
I am very angry. I am always angry. That's my secret formula. I'm always angry on the inside.
I don't know. You just don't get Israeli passion if you don't think we're calm.
I guess I just don't. That's another thing I don't understand about Israel.
Lol.
So, I guess I really want to talk about two things. Well, let me start with the first thing, is that, Palestinians will never accept, Israel, or like they'll always view Israel as like a settler state or something like that, or like as them as settlers. And I think we're talking a lot about kind of the fear of like Palestinians like always wanting to harm or hurt people and things like that. And we're not talking about like why there is such a grievance, right? Israel is built on Palestinian like land. There are areas in Israel in which, a massacre took place, where now there's a mass grave, and now there's like a fucking parking lot over it, for a beach resort. There's no version of any person no one will have the ability to let that go. You have to solve the problem, or it's not going to be solved. Like, think about this. You're a refugee, right? You're either like you're born in a refugee camp, or you're a refugee or whatever. You saw you either saw your grandfather die, humiliated, kicked out of his land, and with no ability to get it back, based on what? Some 2,000-year-old claim, and you saw this person die. He spent his entire life dispossessed, and then when you ask for that land back, you have someone like Warthongs saying, no, you're a violent so-and-so, you can't have it back. Okay, there's no obligation to give back the land we took from your family.
Okay, I'm
Of course
calling
you're
it
right.
now. You're
Yeah.
the naive one in this
I'm the naive.
conversation.
No,
Yeah.
Warthongs is the naive one.
If everyone was like, if most Palestinians were like the diaspora Palestinians that live in the United States, or wherever you're from, peace process, we would have peace. I'm sure of it.
Every Palestinian
No.
is like me. This is ridiculous. This is the thing. This is the Israeli fear of a Palestinian moderate who can speak about these issues and understands how it's going to be presented to a Western audience.
Okay.
Right, because other Palestinians, they are dealing with the violence and the trauma of living their lives as either in refugee camps or under a occupation or under siege, under a
So-
system of apartheid.
The reason
And,
why I called you naive is
first
because
of all, I've
I
spoken
think
to
you
my
don't
family
get that they
members.
don't care. They don't care. Like they it's not, you can explain it to them, but at the end of the day they have, I guess, some reasonable ways that like they justify that by their own safety. At the end of the day, they feel like Sure, even if all of that is true, which is most of it they'll contest, generally speaking. Even if all of that is true, like I'm still at risk and I deserve to be safe. So it's just like I agree with you on everything. I don't think it's the way to go in terms of like convincing Israeli people. Because if they cared about like the suffering, we know the suffering. Maybe not enough because it's not taught in school, in schools like significantly. But I don't think asking Israeli people to have like to understand the plight of Palestinians, and for them to just be like, oh, this is actually really fucked up. We're just going to stop everything now, especially with the religious groups. That's just not really going to affect most of them. I just don't think it's it's the best way to go about it.
I understand like the plight of the. I understand. Like I can put my shoes in the shoes of a Palestinian, and I can envision my life.
Well,
Yes.
let's do a little fucking triangle then. So that was Beast, then Katie, then War Thongs, and we can go back. That seemed to work.
Sure,
Yeah, I can envision myself in the shoes of the Palestinian, right? But if I was a Palestinian, I would try to envision my shoes in the Israeli. Like, can you do that, Beast Bros? Can you like put yourself in the shoes of an Israeli who like just wants to live his life, goes to work? Oh, there's a reason news versus terror attack, and he wants to live.
What does this have to do with like the things we want to happen in the world? Like that's completely irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like I can put myself in the shoes of some like person I'm like imagining in my head. What does that matter? Like I'm asking you to.
Can you not put yourself in the shoes of a slave owner? Can you not just try for a second have empathy for the slave owners, just for a second?
So so let's say like
no, wait, I can be more charitable to that. You could say like put yourself in the shoes of like a fucking like a Mizrahi like Jew who's only in Israel because they were fucking kicked out of Iraq because some other like Israeli
you
some
can
other
put the
Jews
shoes in my shoes. I was born here.
So,
like what did I choose to be born here?
Yeah,
like,
so that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you can put yourself in those, but I guess at the end of the day, it's like one group has the power, like one group has the state, and one group has like most of the world backing it. That's what I mean. Yeah, okay.
It's like but again, you want us to like peace process. You want us like to withdraw like from the West Bank, like give you a state, right? You support the two, like, well, no, you support the one state solution, but like,
yes,
okay, but like you understand that no Israel, like 90, like nobody, almost no one in Israel supports the one state solution. Like
that's fine by me.
Okay.
It shouldn't be.
Eventually.
No.
You understand why most of the Israelis do not support the one-state solution?
Because they don't want to have a Palestinian majority.
Yeah.
Okay, why is that? Why don't they want to have a Palestinian majority?
Well, there's a variety of different reasons. There's different interest groups in a country. To list them all for you. There's people who are fascist and they don't want to live in a state where the inferior subhuman Palestinians are like have any say in the government at all. There are people who are kind of like you, guided by fear, illogical.
Can you talk about the people like me more? Like, what is our like? What do we want to preserve, and what is our fear of not preserving?
Well, what do you want to preserve? You tell me.
Also, Loner, you're the mod, so remember you have to let me speak because I don't want to interrupt people, but I have something to say.
Okay, so my fear is that Israel will cease to exist as like a state that can place a safe haven for the Jews. If like a Jew, if there's like a problem in the world somewhere for Jews, like Israel will cease to provide that like. We can come. You can come to Israel if like there's a huge problem in like a place where a lot of Jews can get hurt. We can try and help there.
Like what happened with Ukraine when we took refugees and then we didn't want to take them anymore.
What do you mean? We took a lot of refugees and weren't like even prepared for a large number of refugees. Like,
yes. And then Ayelet Shaked decided she doesn't want to let any more refugees in, and the Supreme Court had to stop her, right?
Okay. I do not agree with that politician.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. I will respond to your point about the safe haven argument. I believe that when a people are under threat, they have the right to seek asylum in the nearest available country that will take them. right? And protect them and keep them safe. This is why I believe that, people who come to the U.S. and they seek asylum, they should have an asylum in the U.S. However, the right of the asylumee, right? It does not go to the extent that you can, create an apartheid state, that you can cause ethnic cleansing. You hear me? Like that you can forcibly alter the demographics of the country so that one group has the majority. Like no one would accept that, right? No one would accept that happening to anywhere they live. You know what I mean?
So let's say Israel.
What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to create this safe haven in this place, right? Where like from the river to the sea, the majority of the population now is Arab. I think it's like 51%.
It's 50,
like,
50, something like that. Yeah.
We know a lot of kids we have in Palestine. We're going to be the majority soon.
Yeah.
Like what?
So
like
you oppose wholeheartedly like a two-state, like you would not accept a two-state solution, like where Israel, like
I would accept the two-state solution in the meantime.
In the meantime, and what happens if Israel does not like?
And then continue to push for a one-state solution.
Okay.
Because
we're gonna have to debate that at some point then.
I cannot. Call me an emotional person. For two reasons I want this. One, for the emotional reason, I cannot look a Palestinian refugee or their descendant in the eye, right? These are members of my community. These are people who I am friends with. I can't look them in the eye, and call myself their brother, or their friend or anything like this, because it is such an insult to them that I would allow a crime that was done against them and their family and all the trauma that entails to be like completely without any remedy, without any recourse. And the second reason is that legally you are creating a precedent where a regime can remove an undesirable population and then have a mechanism through which they can get away with it. That's a dangerous thing to have in international politics.
So ethnic cleansing is bad, right? Ethnic cleansing is bad. It happened in the 90s in Bosnia, right? Like in the in places where I agree with you, but like in my opinion, like it's very hard. Like let's say what Israel does, like with East Jerusalem. Do you agree with that? So, because you should agree with that, because Jews lived there before. Sheikh Jarrah, Jews lived there before 48, right?
Well,
so you should be on the side of Israel in that. Are you on the side of Israel kicking out Palestinian families to let Jews in who lived there before 48?
Hold on. Sheikh Jarrah is a much more complicated issue. Yes, they live there, but they were renting it. So, but I do agree that there are examples such as that in other areas in Palestine. Now the issue
I think it's bad.
Hold on. I'm trying to answer your question.
You're
the
right.
issue is that personally, I would be fine with things like that if it wasn't done under the system of military occupation, apartheid, and under a regime who is doing this in bad faith. Do you understand? If you remove the military occupation, the apartheid regime, and the bad faith regime, right, on the part of the Israelis, I would be fine with that, because you would also be seeing Palestinian refugees getting their homes back too.
I am against like removing populations, or like removing like from now, like as you are like against ethnic cleansing, but I'm also against, like, let's say you like those Palestinians that live in like in those areas, like they didn't do anything. Like, they just bought the houses from like the Jordan Authority that like sold it to them, right? Like after they kicked out the Jews that lived there. Like, how is that their fault that they bought the house from the Jordan Authority, right? Why should they be kicked? They shouldn't. Like, I disagree with like stuff like that.
Well, thank you for once caring about the Palestinians as a part of a broader argument.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that.
I am against doing stuff like that. If people, so let's say about the right of return and all that, if people want to move in and like build new houses and stuff like that, and Israel can like support like that economically to some extent, and after there's a two-state solution and they want to live in Israel in peace, I also don't have a problem with that.
First of all, also another thing,
we cannot like
the people moving in, they have no relation to the original organization. You understand? Like, it was like purchased by like a series of organizations. This is what I mean by bad faith. It's not done in order to like help a family that was like dispossessed of their property and land, right? It's done so that like specifically to ensure that there is a Jewish majority in East Jerusalem, right? Because like the original organization that purchased Sheikh Jarrah
Jewish presence, or but yeah,
sold it to somebody else.
yeah, I
right?
agree with you.
Not
Yeah,
the
yeah, I agree with
organization
you.
doing this. So like you see the issue, it's not being done in a way to solve a problem. It's being done to further the colonization and settlement of, you know, Palestine, right? Like, you see what I mean by bad faith?
Okay, by bad faith, so you disagree also like with the laws that prevent homeowners to sell like property to Jews as well, Palestinians? Like, do you also disagree? Like, do you you're for selling like properties to because that's not allowed, or because that's bad faith? Like they will abuse that, so it's good that it's not allowed.
I think
Because
that
the punishment is death, right? You understand that, like the punishment to sell, like for a Palestinian to sell a house to a Jew, is
listen,
punishment in the Palestinian authority is
nobody
death.
said beacebrocess was the biggest cheerleader of the Palestinian government or state. Okay, if you think I'm going to, you know, wholeheartedly support everything the the PA does, forget about that. Okay, it's a
What about the
dictatorship.
Palestinian population?
Probably the dictatorship you support. So I'm not for that. And
I
also,
think the PA,
don't think that any society is internally homogenous in terms of what it believes. Okay, there is no input from the people. So, okay, let's get that straight. Now let me ask you: do you? Because if you want to ascribe things that the PA does to me and ask me and question things. Do you support the apartheid regime of Netanyahu? Do you support him attacking the judiciary system in Israel? See how this feels on your end?
So I first of all don't think it's apartheid. Second of all, I don't think, like, I disagree with some of the judiciary stuff that he does. Mainly the weakening the ability of the Supreme Court to like they basically can vote again. Like if they have a majority in the Knesset, they can like basically overrule the decision of the Supreme Court. I disagree with that. About like ruling of judges, I don't think it's a big deal if like the majority of the Knesset rules on the judge, or if they have the majority. I don't think like we have a separation of, like in the United States, it's insane what's going on, like how they conduct their judge. Like they have like they have so much power, like in the president, that they can just like put judges in there and like have their like bias rule of law there. In Israel, it's more like a like parliamentary democracy where there is clear separation of the branches, and having like more power to like the parliament to conduct judges is not like that crazy. I think like Israel has like one of the strongest separation of the in most of Europe, like between the branches in terms of like,
What? Have you lived in Israel like right now? You know,
yes.
when they're almost revoking our status as a democracy?
What are you on about?
Talking about the reform that is happening.
Yeah, I feel like that reform is really controversial. Like, yeah,
It
I can't
is,
It's not
speak on
really controversial. It would make us not democratic.
No,
like,
no,
it's
it
not
wouldn't. You are insane, Kate. Like it's actually like insane what you're saying. So,
dude,
okay.
read
Holy
the
shit.
newspapers. Oh my fucking god! But no, I'm not doing this. I need to make a point.
I love this guy. He's gonna do all the work for me. He's gonna discredit Israel for me. I don't give a shit. You do what you want. Ruin your own country. Do what you want.
Wait,
So
let's let Katie in now because she's been there
okay,
for a while.
go, Kate.
Yeah, so I do appreciate that we're doing the whole like fear mongering about like Palestinians wanting to kill all the Jews and how the Jews are just defending themselves. That doesn't really explain like the potential and by I believe the number is higher than that, but I'm just gonna minimize it. 40% of Israeli people who actively want us to be in the settlement want us to have a one state, meaning it's a Jewish state across from Jordan to the sea, full religious fundamentalism. Are those people scared, or are justifications for oppressing Palestinians is that they need all the land? And how is that different from Palestinian people who want?
Did we lose her? Did you lose me? Oh shit.
No, you're
Okay.
fine.
No, we lost her. Oh shit.
Anyways, like the judicial reform, I'll tell you like the argument from the right wing of Israel.
Oh,
Did
she's
you
back.
not hear me?
Oh, she's back.
Yeah, you're back now.
we
You're
hear
back
you.
now.
Now we hear you.
What the fuck? Okay. When did I drop? That's so weird.
Shit.
Okay, I'll do my whole shtick again. So let's say that 40%,
Hey, that's
which
our
I
word. No, I'm joking.
which I believe is more than 40%, but let's say 40% of Israeli people who want to have a fundamentalist religious Jewish state from like Jordan to the sea. How does that exactly differ from Palestinians who want Tel Aviv? And how do we address that? Because they don't want Palestine because they're scared that the Palestinians would hurt them. They just want it because they believe they own that land. So when you talk about how we're just oppressing Palestinians to protect ourselves and just completely ignoring that huge part of Israeli demographic that wants the territories for themselves, how do you explain that, or do you not?
What should I explain? Like, how should I explain the people that want like how should I address the people that want like all of Palestine? Like,
Well, I assume
future
you just
Palestinian lands to themselves.
I assume you just disavow their positions, except that they are a
I
very
disagree
large
with
part
them.
of the
I
Israeli
disagree with them, but
population.
they don't like. Okay, some of them like some
Mhm.
settlers are crazy. I don't know if you've had interaction with settlers, like with Jewish settlers. Have you?
Can you stop
Yep.
asking me if I had interactions with people?
Why?
Because it's really weird and inappropriate.
Inappropriate. Am I sexually
Yeah.
harassing you? Okay,
What
let's.
You know
the-
it can be inappropriate without sexually
No,
harassing
like,
me.
well, how is that inappropriate? I'm just like asking. Have you like actually interacted with like settlers? Do you know how they feel? Like, what's your like? Do you only read the news and you form your opinions on settlers like from the news, or have you interacted with settlers? Like, I'm asking that.
Oh,
kind of-
what I do, instead of just talking to people and saying that I know people's opinions, I just read statistics, you know? Because there are polls that talk to more people than I do, and then my opinions are actually informed by more than anecdotes, you know? That's what I do.
How do you feel the settler population? Like, do you feel that they're like? How do you feel about them? Like, do you feel like they're aggressive, crazy, like Zionist, like religious people? Like, what's your opinion on them?
On settlers, I was talking about religious people generally. But
Yeah.
yes, most people in Israel are Zionists.
And
Is that like a controversial statement? Do I need to talk to them?
does Zionist
what?
mean that we have to have all the land, like all of occupied Palestinian land, like as well?
No, no. So
Okay, so
most
why-
people
why
in
is that?
Israel are usually Zionist, right? But
Yes.
there's a large subsect of the population that absolutely wants to be in the occupied territories. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in the occupied territories. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what do we do about that really subsection of Israeli people who want that to be the Israeli agenda?
If you want like an honest like solution, we outvote them. That's like the only possible thing to do. Like,
Do we outvote them right now when they are
You
pretty
just
much
lost
the
the
dominant
election.
force in the government?
You just lost an election, dude.
yeah, I'm
We
so
haven't-
sorry.
we
I'll try
haven't-
better next time. Beacebrocess,
We
I'll think
haven't
about you.
won an
There is no
election
next
in like
time.
20
Better.
years.
I'll try.
He beat you. Netanyahu checkmated you, fucking
Oh.
idiots. He's going to change the judiciary so that next time when an Arab party comes and runs, he's going to say, "Oh, these guys are supporting terrorism." He's going to use his Knesset majority to knock them down, and then when the Supreme Court, like they did last November, when they say that's illegal, he's going to reverse that decision.
Yeah, I think
Remove-
that's a very dangerous, like that thing where they can reverse decisions of like that's very bad. I'm very much
That
opposed
thing
to that.
when
I
we're
think that's
not a
the most
democracy anymore, yes.
that's the most major issue in all of that judiciary reform. I think it has to go. Like right now, like the state talk about like closing the gaps there. That should be the main point. Yeah, that's what I fear the most. Like that, like reversal of judicial, like of judicial call. That's
You're
very
not going to vote this out. You're not going
very
to vote this
dangerous.
out.
That's very dangerous. The rest of the things that they proposed, like how to choose judges and all that, not a big deal. The really big deal is
Okay, You
refer to
understand you're
the-
not going to vote this out, right? You're not voting this out.
So currently,
It's done. You've been
current-
checkmated. Like, it's over. You like, come on.
players. So all the protesters, the Protestants, I should tell them it's over. Should I text them, tell them to go back home?
You should listen. You handle your own affairs, okay? But I'm just saying. I don't know what you guys can do to fix your own
Can I-
situation, but
can
you're not
I
gonna
just-
vote it out.
Okay, just war songs. So I get outside of. So I see a parallel when you say, "Hey, look, a lot of Palestinians, they're not gonna just be happy if we gave them a state. They're gonna want Tel Aviv and Haifa back." And I can make the exact same argument about how a lot of Israeli Jews don't just want 48 or even 67 borders. They want the settlements. They want the West Bank. They want and more. So like, you can't make that argument.
Yeah, but once the
yeah.
state of Israel has a peace agreement, like we don't have like settlers that try to go in Gaza, guns blazing, and trying to like.
No,
we
they
don't
go in the
have-
West Bank.
Yeah, but
Yes.
again, once we have a settlement, like I mean, like you know what I mean, like a peace process with the Palestinians, we're not gonna have settlers that go in and like just go gun blazing and try to take more land. We're gonna like comply to the laws of Israel, even though they will disagree with it. Like Israel will, like it's not like they're like outlaws that needs to be
So
dealt
you're
with.
saying that once we have an agreement with the Palestinians, our side wouldn't act like weirdos and just break the agreement. But then when I say that about the Palestinians, you're just saying no, the crazy bitch is gonna keep terrorizing.
So in 2005,
Yes.
again, we
Ah.
withdrew. That continued like
Say
even
what you
more.
have to say. Say what you have to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, in 2005, like we withdrew from the Gaza Strip. Instead of like easing tension and saying, okay, let's chill, it was like, no, the resistance is working. We need to keep going. That's
Do
what
you know why
my
they? Do you know why they withdrew?
there's a number of reasons. So there's a
I can
demographic
give you
reason.
the reasons from the actual.
Well, you
policy
asked me, I can answer that if you want. But sure, give me.
Sure, you can give me the false answer. I can
Well, let's
prove
give you a
it.
statement to just
Okay.
like, let me just like a simple question, Warthongs, because would you say that the withdrawal from Gaza was like a good faith effort to advance peace, or no?
Part of it was, yes.
Okay,
So
peace, you can respond to
the-
that.
So part of it was, I think the main thing was a demographic reason to a growing like concern like at the government at the time was like they wanted to like have two-state solution as like the main course of action, and that's why they did it. So a demographic option like to like make the one-state solution like basically a weaker option. That's one of them. Yes, definitely peace. Like all of the left parties that voted on that, like in the Knesset, they voted because of a peace gesture. And yeah, one other reason is because like we're occupying it. There's like soldiers that needs to like it costs money to occupy them. It costs we have to take care of the citizens that we occupy. It to give them like basic needs. It costs money, and all those calculations came about, and that's why we withdrew.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned peace, but most of that just seemed to be like demographics. You have to understand this was under the Sharon government. Sharon is a Likudnik. The Likudniks, they want to, going all the way back to Begin, they had this idea of an autonomy scheme where essentially they annex portions of the West Bank and they have other portions run by a Palestinian government, in quotes, but the Israelis would control settlement, security. Security means they have troops there. It's basically an official version of the occupation. And
so why would they withdraw?
Let me finish. I'll get to this. They would also offer. They also understood that they can't just like give them no rights of like citizenship and things like that, and that they would have to be forced to do that if they did that. They understood that was a possibility in the future. Now, you understand the thing with political parties is they never drop things. They keep them forever. And Sharon was a member of the Likud party for a very long time. He definitely wouldn't have dropped this. He also would have known that the Palestinian population was exploding. It was going way high, and it would eventually in the future, and this is how the demographics are going right now, from the river to the sea, there will be more Palestinians by
I'm
the
just
end
like
of
wondering, how do you know that he knew all of, like thought all of that?
that is what the demographic projections show. Now,
No, like I mean, how
in
did
terms of
he?
the peace process, right?
Okay.
This is from the senior Sharon advisor, Dov Weissglass. The disengagement is actually formaldehyde. It supplies the amount of formaldehyde that is necessary, so there will not be a political process with the Palestinians. The significance of the disengagement plan is the freezing of the peace process. That's him. He said that. That's him. Right?
So like
That's
one,
his
so
senior
like
advisor.
some
That was the reason they did that
advisor
thing.
of Ariel Sharon
You
said that.
remove
But again, that,
you remove 8,000 settlers from the Gaza Strip.
you
Right?
understand that like
And
a left party
so
voted
that
in
you
Israel
hang
for
on, just
that.
I think.
exclude Gaza from potentially being annexed, so that you don't worry about having a demographic overload of Palestinians. This is why Netanyahu, he said, why there was such a big fucking craze, a big
Okay, so we
worry.
shouldn't
about
withdraw from the West Bank. We
Palestinians
should keep
having too many
occupying
kids.
it
What?
because
Hang on,
because,
just
like,
let Beast finish that last point, and then you can
it's
respond.
just crazy, like conspiracy. He
It's
just like
not.
quotes
That
one
was
guy.
his senior
It's just not the
advisor.
main issue, though. It's just the wrong focus. in
Well,
my
yeah, but we can
opinion.
just finish it, and then so Beast finish, and then Warthongs, and then Kate, you can try.
I finished.
Okay, now you can go Warthongs. Okay.
It's like you're like trying to like build intent on the whole thing about like this being some mysterious
That's
devil.
his advisor, though.
Okay,
If Biden's advisor said that, I want to make a comical Biden joke, but I can't think of one. But if Biden's advisor just said, "Oh, we're doing this because of this," I would
understand
believe
that
him.
like Israel is a parliament. Like it still needs to be a vote like in the parliament for this issue to like go forward. So there's like maybe Sharon, maybe you're right about Sharon. Like I don't know how you can get into his head. Maybe you're right by quoting like one advisor and like all of it. Maybe like
No,
I
it's
don't know,
not
but
just
like
Sharon too. It's not
yeah, but
just
there's
Sharon.
so
too.
many
Others
people who
said that.
voted for that, and like
Oh,
Shimon Peres said they're leaving Gaza because of demography.
yeah, I agree. That was one of the reasons, like to like yeah, one state solution. They want to have like one state solution off the table. That was one of the reasons. The other reason, like why the left parties voted for that, was peace.
Sure.
If there were no left parties to vote on that,
Well, I don't care what the left parties do, because the policymaker, right, is who I care about, and the policymakers were Sharon. He was the prime minister. That was the idea behind it.
Leave everything like what's their intentions and one like leave all that behind. Like, don't you think that withdrawing from like as like an observer, like withdrawing from the Gaza Strip is like a good thing for the Palestinians? Shouldn't be that like okay, that's a step towards peace. This is like shouldn't that be a good thing?
Have been, except that it wasn't properly implemented in a way that would have significantly helped the Palestinians. So it was a gesture, for sure.
So there's criticism. It wasn't coordinated with the Palestinians, like how Israel withdraws and all that. Like yeah, there was no coordination. That was like a bad thing. I agree.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
100% should be coordinations, but
Yeah.
on the face of it, it's like
Okay, so Warthongs, I agree with you. And I actually like my personal view when that was happening is that I believe there was a legitimate sentiment in Israel that this would be like a peace effort. The problem is that didn't really matter, because us just removing ourselves from Gaza with just letting Gaza being taken over by small resistance groups that's sure, you could say that we meant well, but that's not a solution for anything. Us
Actually,
removing
Kate,
ourselves.
your
Shut up.
advisor told me that you did it because you're racist, not because you wanted peace.
Well, if I'm racist, then I don't know what the fuck you are. Let's continue. So, it's fine that withdrawing from Gaza was potentially a peace offer. Problem is that didn't really matter, because we didn't do anything beyond that, you know? So it's great that was an offer, but it's not like they had their own state. It's not Like, what is your argument here? What did we do by leaving Gaza? If anything, you're right. With the way things are currently are, I don't know if leaving Gaza was the right thing. Like, they're doing really badly.
Much
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
You know that was it 8,000 settlers left Gaza in 2005? Do you know how many settlers moved into the West Bank in 2005?
I
Like
personally know
13,
like
14,000 or something? Yeah, sorry.
I personally know Gush Katif like resettlers. Like the funny thing is, most of them are
Okay.
very much left wing. Like
Who cares? It doesn't matter if they're left wing. If you harm another person,
see?
you're still bad. Like it doesn't matter where you politically align or how you politically identify yourself. Do you think calling yourself left wing gives you like a carte blanche to be an asshole?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Lonerbox does that.
Okay, where's this conversation? Okay, I was joking. Where's the is Ari coming? Or is he on data?
again,
He was molding in my chat, dude. It was terrible.
Wait, he's in my
Thank you for
DMs. Hang
getting him.
on. He said I'm
Yeah.
afraid of him. Hang on.
Yeah,
Holy
he doesn't
shit.
have good words for you. Just let him on.
He said I found my useful Jew. Nice job, Nazi. You're so fucking
Yikes.
afraid of me.
Am I the useful Jew in this scenario?
I think so.
That's disgusting.
To be fair, like Warthongs is probably a little like marginally useful compared to this guy. Like fuck me. What is he? I don't know if he's coming in though. I gave him the Discord. Do we have any other topics?
I think we kind of like I think we again like the problems with Israelis how we see it is like everyone.
I don't feel
Beast
like...
process. No, I just want to make Beast Process realize this. Like everyone feels that way. The 2005 right was a gesture of peace. Everyone in Israel thinks that way.
So
no,
I care what policy happens. I care what policy happens. Is it my fault they're misinformed?
If they're
What
not
do you want to happen?
They're
What
not
do you want to
misinformed.
happen?
Peace process was part of that withdrawal. Like it was a gesture of peace. Like as well.
It wasn't
Wait.
though.
I have a question. Sorry, Beast. So I don't feel like you answered my former question. If we can reach an agreement with Israel that there's peace, so the religious people wouldn't try to conquer Palestine, why, if we have an agreement that we give Palestine their own country, why are you then saying that they're just never going to stop and they're going to keep being terrorists? Like,
He didn't say that, but he just said
Yeah,
that.
but
You said that.
You do seem to think that the religious in Israel will just like, you know, that we can just move. They move on with their lives after you do like the worst thing imaginable, and they're like their universe, you know, their moral universe. You know what I mean? Like, why aren't you like considering their perspective? You know, you're completely excluding like how fanatical some of these like settler groups are in terms of like religion and how they view the land.
I mean, that's the point of policy, though, right? There are still a bunch of again, there's still loads of Serbs who want Kosovo. They're not getting it. I suppose there are probably a lot of Russians who wish they'd taken Kiev, and they're not getting it. Like,
so why is that argument when a bunch of Palestinians want Tel Aviv is like a valid argument? It's not. They can want it. Doesn't mean they're getting it.
I'm gonna take the guy in. All right.
Yeah, but today,
Yes.
what's happening is that the Palestinian authorities kind of like, you know, beating around the bush and like letting them do that. Like they don't have the
do
power
what?
to stop
Take
them.
Tel Aviv?
No, like to have terror attacks. That's what's the issue is, right? They just go in like any way
Go
possible.
in where?
Go into Israel. They smuggle in. They go in, take a bus to Israel, drink some coffee. Okay, pull out my gun. I'm gonna shoot the next two Jews I see on the street. Yeah.
That's how that works. Okay.
Yeah. What's not stopping them is because again, if you maybe in the future, if we strengthen like the Palestinian Authority, you know, reform education,
Why would
really
we strengthen a dictatorship?
I mean, what other options do we have? Like.
Give them a state supported
election.
financially and then have a peace agreement done.
What about Gaza and like what do we?
Gaza is part of the Palestinian state. Done.
Okay, yeah, but Hamas, it's like they're gonna be in power, right?
How do you know that?
Okay, the majority of the Gazan people
Right
still,
now,
like,
Barghouti is the most popular Palestinian person right
like,
now.
even
Yes,
the West
that's
Bank,
true.
But he's kind of in the middle between
No.
Hamas
This
and
guy, he knows what he's
Palestinian
talking about.
Authority.
If Marwan Barghouti ran, he would cream every single opponent ever. Like,
yes, even the West Bank.
He wins 60% of the vote.
That's why Barghouti is still locked up, because they don't want to lose power, because he'll just take it from the authority right now. But he's right now a terrorist locked up in jail for like 5 murders. So I mean, that's who Lonerbox likes to support, though.
You know who else is
So-
locked up? Nelson Mandela.
Mandela.
Dude.
Thank
Hey,
you.
all right, sorry.
Well, Mandela didn't kill anybody. He wasn't part
Listen.
of the
Bro,
thing.
the
He
ANC
was-
killed a lot of people. What are you
He
talking
deserved
about?
He said he would go to violence, but he didn't actually kill anybody. Was part of anybody's
Mahmoud
death.
Abbas
So
kills
prove
people all
me
the time.
wrong, Lonerbox. He's not the same as Mandela. I knew you were gonna do this. You fucking idiot.
Anyway,
Jump- yeah,
Mahmoud
basically
Abbas
it's fine.
kills people all the time. Are you okay with him
support
being in
jihad,
power?
Lonerbox? And
Hold
you
on.
know you do. You like to seem like you're progressive and fucking woke or whatever, but you actually secretly support the jihad, and that's how you're fucking
What?
very obvious to me.
Is Barghouti a jihadist?
No.
Yeah,
Cool, that's what I
he was part of the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. You know, he started.
No, he was
starting that.
part
He
of the
actually
Tanzim, you
told
idiot.
people which brigade and how depending on how extreme they were. He was actually putting people into those groups.
Wait, if we're judging people for the groups that they were like tangentially involved with, then you'd say the same about Mandela, right? The ANC killed a lot of civilians.
I already looked at Mandela. Trust
Oh,
me,
Lonerbox,
he wasn't
honest
involved
question,
in
do you actually
anything.
support
Before
him?
he was arrested, he wasn't arrested for murder. He was arrested for incitement, but he was released
Do you
after a
actually
while.
support him,
And then he
Lonerbox?
became more terroristic after the disillusionment, after the Camp David Accords.
Do you actually support him, Lonerbox?
20
Barghouti.
years, but yet
Yeah.
Lonerbox wants to support him.
I just said that he's the more popular guy. I don't know that much about him. He seems better
I
than
said,
fucking
who do
Hamas
you,
and shit. So, yeah.
I
He
said,
called
who
for
would
a
you
third
shout out?
intifada,
I
right?
guess if you go with whoever the Palestinians support, I guess you don't actually do your own research.
By
Well,
the
if
way, Hamas would win the election if today, like one of the reasons Palestinian
No, if
Yeah,
Barghouti
Hamas
ran,
would win the
Hamas
No,
election
would win.
Hamas
now,
would 100%
100%.
win the election.
No, if Barghouti ran,
100%.
no way.
Mhm. No, Barghouti's more
they can't
popular than
run right
Hamas.
now.
Yeah.
Why
Barghouti
does
is
it
really
matter if
popular.
Hamas or Barghouti wins the election? Can someone explain that to me?
Because if we give
Because
like,
Barghouti is more
we give like
progressive.
a democratic
He
like
would allow a woman to be prime minister, which I support.
Barghouti won
seems
the third
progressive,
intifada
yet he
today.
Oh,
doesn't.
you're
He's
just
a
gonna
fucking
yell over
assassin.
each other. I got it. That's helpful.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Thank
do
you
some
for the
muting in a minute.
explanation.
Yeah. Fuck. All right, hang on. I'm gonna let Arahelion speak because he's new to it. Then more thongs. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he says he doesn't want to target people outside of the West Bank, yet he does, and it was proven in his court case.
More thongs.
Actually, he didn't participate in his court case.
Like I don't know like how you like say
He says things, but he doesn't.
if Barghouti ran, we would like Fatah would win. Like today, if you do the polls, Hamas wins like the election. If we do the polls, and why does it
Answer
matter?
me that.
Why does it matter? Yeah, why does it matter? Because
Yes.
like
Because
like you said, if
Palestine isn't a parliamentary system. It's the president has the most power.
yeah, and if we
What-
do an election and Hamas
Okay,
wins,
so
like,
I
Hamas
have a
does not support
question.
hold on. Hamas does not support the two-state solution. For them, if Israel withdraws from the West Bank or one state or any state,
So
if
I
Israel
have a
withdraws from
question.
hold on, if Israel withdraws from the West Bank by Hamas standards, that's cool, guys. Israel, you're doing a great job. We're gonna have like a hudna for 10 years. After that, you know, we're gonna keep going. That's like Hamas official policy. Like they keep the resistance.
Okay, excellent. So if we give the Palestinians their own state under the condition that they have a democratic state, and then they choose their democratic representatives, what's the issue?
Again, like for me, Palestinian Authority, it's like the only, like it's the lesser of all evils that there is right now. I would like
Oh,
fight for
okay.
this. If
So when
any
you
peace
want to
process
give them a state, you also want to decide who's ruling that state?
No, I'd want them to choose Hamas and then like have a peace process with Hamas after we do a peace process right now with the Palestinian Authority and Hamas, and after that they have like their like totalitarian regime with the Palestinian state. We don't interfere with it. If they overthrow it, so be it, and then we have NATO, step in like the
Yeah,
security
so
guarantees.
we're exactly on board. So why does it matter who they're going to elect? We're gonna
Yeah,
have
again-
peace. We're gonna have peace processes with whoever they elect.
My main point is to have
Because
security guarantees for like
if
the
we want to
world's
release
strongest
Barghouti,
nations
he's
to fucking like deal with the Palestinians for us if we have like a peace process.
Listen, this is a
That's
very
my main-
interesting hypothetical. Where, if
Barghouti can be
XYZ
released.
happens, whatever. But like, let's look at right now. Okay, we have an Israel occupying the West Bank. Israel's intention of occupying the West Bank is to settle, is to take land, is to enforce a system of apartheid. Where's our NATO intervention? What right? Where's our security being protected? When is that going to happen? Because our rights are being infringed right now. Like we have no. Where's our security? Is what I'm saying.
That's
NATO
also
supposed to.
why, like, one of you said that one of the dunks against like Barghouti is that he supports a third intifada. It's like, well, that's what happens when you don't have like something like the equivalent of a NATO intervention, right? Like, what other recourse do the people have now who are being trampled over
He
by
doesn't
settlers?
believe in the UN intervention that they used for after the 1967 war. He doesn't believe in that. He thinks that it says there's
UN
two things.
intervention,
Israel has to
yeah?
remove themselves from the occupied territories, and all parties have to cease their hostilities. He doesn't believe in the ceasing of hostilities because he doesn't believe in peace.
Oh
Listen,
god. So we're back to
okay.
this.
I can
First,
go all day.
Barghouti was brought up, right? But we're confusing the issues now. Barghouti was brought up because we wanted to make an argument that Hamas wouldn't win the election. Do you understand the issue here?
Hamas would
How
not
do you
win
know
if
that?
Barghouti
How
was
do you know
free right now.
Because I looked at
Barghouti is
polls.
kind of a mid ground
Anyway.
between Hamas
Can you link me the
and the
polls?
PLO.
I can find
Wait,
the polls.
why is he in mid ground between Hamas and who? Hamas and who?
Yep, and the Palestinian Authority.
How many
It's kind
people
of
have
like
the Palestinian
mid-ground.
Authority killed?
That's why so many
Wait,
people.
how many
support him.
people have the
Not
Palestinian
when it's
Authority
corrupt.
killed?
Sorry?
How many people have the Palestinian Authority killed?
Well, he was part of their organization until,
Part of the Palestinian Authority?
yeah, Fatah and everything. Yeah.
Fatah isn't the Palestinian Authority. It's a party, right? The Palestinian Authority is like just a clique of, old autocrats, right? He's not part of Fatah.
Yeah, he's
hasn't
like
been
one
part
of the
of
top
Fatah for a
commanders,
very
but
long
like
time.
they don't want to give him the power because he'll take all the power from Abbas. Abbas is literally clinging onto nothing. He knows that.
Right. Okay,
if he
but you
loses-
mentioned the Palestinian Authority. How many people have they killed? Do you understand?
They're definitely an authoritarian, not democratic place. But I guess you can
Right,
support
and
them.
you know who is democratic?
concentrate on the Jewish
You know who is
nation.
Hamas.
democratic? Marwan. Marwan is democratic.
Yeah, I've got the poll,
Who?
by the way, just to let you guys know the poll. It's hypothetically now he beats Hamas like 61% to 34. So yeah. That's in the Discord. as
understand?
well, and the Twitch chat.
He would be. No, listen.
He's not seen as corrupt, and he's kind of a middle ground.
leader. He would be a popular leader. He would be able to unite the Palestine, right? He would make Palestine more progressive.
Would you
than
stop
it is now.
interrupting, Arhelion? Holy
Nazis
shit.
don't-
Give me a second.
He would make
Right.
He
Now you
would
go,
make
please.
Palestine more progressive than it is now, right? Because he would allow a woman to be prime minister, which would be the first female prime minister in all of Palestinian politics. Okay, and
Doesn't
he's
matter
not
who the person
a
is.
religious
It matters what they
fundamentalist.
believe.
What's that?
Doesn't matter if it's a woman or anybody. It matters what they believe. Sure, a woman would be nice.
No, women. No, representation matters. They're half the population. Okay.
Well, we're worried about peace.
No,
first,
a
and
man
then-
can't make every decision concerning women's lives. They just can't. I'm sorry. Okay.
Let's focus on peace first, okay?
Wait, I'm pretty sure okay, fuck. Arhelion, do you think,
Just saying,
do you think
point that I
Barghouti would be
was-
better or worse than Hamas when it comes to peace?
Barghouti would be 100% better. But
Okay.
like, I'm just saying, if you want a middle ground between the Nazis and a secular fucking party that's currently kind of in charge right now, yeah, there's like, I don't know how secular they actually are, but more secular, I guess. But if you're looking for the middle ground, it's not going to be good if it's between the Nazis and the.
Okay, wait. What about Barghouti is Nazi?
I'm saying
It means
Hamas
Hamas
is like the
is
Nazis.
Okay, so but you said Barghouti is a middle ground between the Nazis and the secular. I'm pretty sure Barghouti, as far as I know, is just secular, right?
Barghouti is way better than Abbas, like 1,000% better.
I would say Marwan Barghouti could be released if he changes into a Mandela-like kind of thing. Like, he just needs to renounce the violence and stuff, and then he'll be free, and then he'll win the election.
Mandela
But I
never
don't think
renounced
that's
the
gonna
violence.
happen.
Yeah, Mandela
Mandela
didn't renounce
He'll never
violence.
renounce the violence. He has the jihad going right now.
Do you think
Mandela
all?
has a
Yeah, go
jihad?
on. You can go, Beast.
People aren't
It's fine.
born jihading. They decide
Mandela
to
never
jihad.
renounced the violence, even while negotiating with the apartheid regime.
What do you mean? What
He didn't
violence are you
renounce
talking about?
violence, and even while negotiating with the apartheid regime. He waited until they cracked. Then he renounced the violence.
Yeah, he didn't even apologize for civilian deaths until after apartheid was ended. Yeah,
Are you talking about Mandela?
yeah.
Yes.
The ANC didn't apologize. They issued their apology for civilian
I think
deaths
there's
after
still hope
apartheid
for
ended.
Marwan Barghouti, but currently, as it stands, he's nothing more than a terrorist right now.
Currently, if you like call for like a third intifada, and you know what intifada means, like how many civilian
What does
deaths
it mean?
are-
What does it mean? Tell me
Intifada
what
is like a
intifada
big
means.
hawara.
It's not just a word meaning like a struggle or resistance.
It is. It is.
No,
Listen,
no. A
Iraqis
third.
had an intifada
But
in
he says, okay,
1952.
shut up.
It's a
No,
word in
shut up. That's
Arabic.
annoying me. It doesn't mean just like it means like we're gonna go in with suicide bombs, right? We're gonna kill
No, it
Jews.
doesn't. It's not a game
Because what is
plan.
the
It's a
third intifada?
word.
What was the second and the first? What was the second and the first?
Yeah,
What is the
Beast,
third?
you're
It was a
wrong.
variety of things happen.
Oh,
Yes, you
Beast,
did have people using
you're
suicide
wrong.
bombs. You also had people
Oh yeah,
targeting
you guys
Israeli
are talking about
Beast,
representation.
you're wrong.
Barghouti, he put
First one.
girls as suicide bombers. That was the representation you guys really needed, right? In Tanzim?
Excuse me, say that again?
In Tanzim, he was one of the first people to start using women as suicide bombers. I think it mentions that or something.
Listen,
So
I
yeah,
never said he was an
in
angel.
that.
I'm just accurate. Listen, I never said he was an angel. I'm just saying he's better than Abbas. Okay, we're playing Trump and we're going by Trump and Clinton rules. Okay, it's who's the lesser of two evils, or Biden and Trump
Yes.
rules.
Can I quickly
Biden killed a
interject?
bunch of children. Listen, it's a cruel world. It's a cruel world we live in. I don't know what to tell you. You know,
There's
but we
still
have
hope for
to.
Barghouti. He just has to become peaceful, and then he can be the Mandela of fucking Palestine forever.
But Mandela never.
Mandela wasn't peaceful
okay.
though.
He used
Hello?
peace
Can
as,
I say
the
something?
violence as a last resort,
Sure, go
but he was
ahead,
always
Katie.
peaceful. He always had
Excuse
peace
me.
as an option.
Yeah.
Katie wants to speak.
So I don't care about you guys delineating who's worse, because that doesn't matter. They should just have the government that they'll end up having, and then we'll just have peace talks with whoever that is. What I did want to say, unfortunately, Beast, is that like when people talk about the Intifada, that as like, yes, it is like a Palestinian struggle, but what the Intifada means for like Israel is like exploding buses and people being like harmed on a daily basis. And you could make the argument that that's valid or whatever. I just like I need you to understand that that is when people say the third Intifada, that's what they're threatening with. They're not just saying we're gonna protest. They mean we're going to exact like acts of violence, or we're going to try to murder people. So like that is what that means.
I grew up in Bush's America. When I was young, they told me Allahu Akbar means I'm going to put on a suicide vest and blow myself up, or I'm going to crash in the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
grew up, no, I don't know what you mean. I grew up in Israel, and when the second Intifada happened, I couldn't take buses because buses were exploding in Israel.
You want me not to say Allahu Akbar because of that experience?
Talk about the Quran in Israel. Where does the Quran mention Palestine in all of the Quran? And it doesn't mention Israel at all?
Wait, I'm sorry, we're not going to like religious.
He literally
shit
said
now,
the
please.
third intifada.
No, he's saying Allah
No, but hold
Akbar,
on,
and
like,
I'm
we're
just
going
saying
to
this
not-
simple point.
Barghouti,
Palestine existed around the time that the Quran was written, around 600.
I don't care. We're not going
So,
into we're not going into
should-
like religious arguments. I don't care. Like, Sorry, Warthog.
Oh,
say
you don't
something.
want to. Of course,
Yeah, but when he
jihadi
said the
bots.
third intifada, meaning it will be like the first and the second kind of. It's very specific,
Because this
right?
isn't
I
a
don't
winning
think you could
argument. You
argue.
can win. That's why you don't want to talk about it.
Because
It's
even
very
if
important.
because even if you win
Masculine.
every argument of
So,
what
but
people
you
said
don't wanna
2,000 years ago, that
talk
doesn't
about it.
matter.
Well, honk, 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 honk.
What?
I'm sorry. Did you come in here to make points, or do you come into like soy?
No, I guess you don't want me to talk about certain things.
You have
I guess that's
radioactive
obvious.
levels of soy.
Why did you ban me the first time when I'm just wondering, what was
Because
the
you were
actual reason?
spamming my chat calling me a jihadi. You wouldn't shut the fuck up. I think you were drunk. That's why I banned you.
That was a day before, and like that was before. Like,
Every
you could've
reason, every time
banned
I've
me,
ever blocked
but
or
you
banned you is
used me-
because for the exact same reason.
No,
This is actually an
the actual-
intervention, Ari. We're
actual
You
here.
can
reason-
listen. You can
We're
cry
here to
about
talk
it,
about
or
Rockville.
listen.
Unhinged.
You can cry about it, or we can move on with
And
the
you
conversation.
banned me because you didn't want a moderate voice, so you only want to talk to Netanyahu supporters, it seems like. And then I started that, so that's why I'm here.
Okay.
I don't
to-
support
to-
Netanyahu, by the way.
Okay. Let's say
you
we
don't?
don't use the word
No.
intifada.
Okay, it sounded
We use the word resist, or try to get ourselves out of this fucked up situation. You know what I mean? What we have to understand, when you put a people in a corner, right, the same way the Israelis have done, they've put us into a corner. They've created three paths. One is is forever occupation. Two is further ethnic cleansing, where we're forced into tinier and tinier Bantustans. And the third option is a Ben Gavir's option, which is total ethnic cleansing and genocide. Right? Like, do you know what I mean? They're freaking out. Like, they're freaking out there. Like, Hawara, I have family there. They're freaking out there. There's a reason people are calling for an intifada, regardless of what form you think it must take in order to be an intifada, right?
I'm sorry about your family in Hawara.
Yeah,
That was quite awful.
Let's say it's violence in general, or whatever. Like, we are trying to. My definition of an intifada is people throwing as much shit against the wall, seeing what sticks, in order to extricate ourselves from the situation. Because those three options, they all suck. They all suck. There are people who are born and who have been born and died under military occupation, no rights. Okay, they're not like how it is. It's not like how it is in America, where you have rights. Okay, none. Okay, like, who would live like this? When eventually some people are going to fucking lose it. I don't like this fear mongering of people, for calling for an intifada, because you're putting them into the corner where they're like, we have to try something,
Yeah, killing Jews is definitely something to try. Yeah.
I didn't say killing anybody.
What does the third intifada mean? What did the
Dude,
first and second do?
You Arabic word scary. That's basically all you.
Oh my god! Come on,
Warthogs, do you think again, like what the ANC called for was like armed resistance? Do you think like ANC armed resistance means killing random white families? Because that is what happened.
I'm not familiar with.
Like, if any armed in South Africa, like if any armed insurrection necessarily means like some civilians might die, do they just have to not do it, or can you? How do you expect them not to do it? I mean, even some people are saying now that like third intifada is almost like basically already started because like there's been no other alternative, right?
No. This is ignorance. This is nonsense. Please don't say this.
In Intifada, they target civilians you understand that it's not like some civilians might die and they target like military targets and like it's an army versus an army fight. No, or like insurgency versus an army fight. It's like they target civilians on purpose and the army is trying to prevent that. That's what's going on in an intifada.
No, what about the first intifada where people had their arms broken by the Israeli state to prevent them from throwing rocks? Is that killing people, throwing rocks? You take one subset of samples of events that happen, which are unfortunate and shouldn't be happen and are condemnable, right?
Well,
no one should be,
the issue is that
but and you're painting any call for like any form of resistance as only being that, because let me tell you, the second intifada included people resisting peacefully too. right there.
Yes, but you need to understand something. If you're going to use the word intifada and you're going to claim that it definitionally does not mean, it's fine that intifada means protesting, but it also, in the Israeli context of how Israel experienced two intifadas, it absolutely means the targeting of civilians in a very specific way. And that is why Israeli people are very scared of intifadas, right? And you can claim that that's like, wait, let me finish. And you can claim that's a legitimate tools that Palestinians should be allowed to use. Just don't, then it's not cherry picking. The element that Israeli people are most aware of when an intifada is happening is the fact that buses are exploding and people are being stabbed in the streets. But they are also not being informed by the media that a protest happened and a bunch of Palestinians got shot. Guess what? They don't give a fuck about that, especially when they're getting stabbed in the street. That's all I'm saying. Just like have the context of what it is that you're talking about.
The thing is, Loner Box's audience, I've seen some of his other streams. I don't just look at the Palestine ones. I'm an avid fan, I swear, okay?
Hey.
He talks about Corbyn. He talks about America. He talks about Biden. We're not talking about his main audience isn't the Israeli people. It's Americans and Brits. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I'm not talking to Israelis right now. That's not the audience here. That's
but when Palestinians,
it's also sorry, just to be clear,
again,
if I'm considering my like Israeli audience, because I know I've got like a few of you guys here, like that's why I tend to not like, I don't think you've ever seen me do this, is I don't do that when it comes to like liberation movements or like resistance movements. I tend to not like soy out over those things, because I know that in all of them, like innocent people get hurt as well, and sometimes it's very deliberate, whether it's like the KLA or whether it's like even maybe even like Ukraine and shit. So like that's why when it comes to intifada, like, so I know.
I didn't
but,
say
like,
this to ask you to advocate, like to spare your Israeli audience. I'm saying that like when you're saying these, if you're just saying, yeah, I'm skipping some nuance to make a general point, then fine. But if you're arguing with like to Israeli people, I don't know how that's going to go over well. And you can still say, hey, I'm here for an audience, but the audience also like is not getting the actual context. I just don't know. I mean, I want to have a conversation with you about advocacy. I think that would be really interesting. I just like
personally,
it felt
that's
inappropriate.
Okay,
If
so that's
somebody
why. But that's why.
says
Hey, hang on,
liberals
Warthorns. Hey, hang on.
exempt that.
Excuse me. All right. So what I usually do is like I don't really moralize that much about like when people talk about intifada, right? Because the way I see it is like the Israeli state and especially like the settlers they've made it kind of inevitable, you know. If obviously it's probably not like the ideal option if you want to advocate for yourself and shit like that, but like what other option is there? That's kind of like that's always how I've presented it. Is like that doesn't really seem to be any other meaningful alternative for people who live there, you know.
So I wasn't really talking about you, Loner Brooks, but I guess like I can make the same critique of you. Like I think from my positions you've heard, I do generally agree that like what other options are there, but because you're speaking to an American and British audience, I do think, and I don't mean this in like a hostile or bad faith way, but I do think that there's like an element of like when you're telling people, yeah, this is what other way is there, but people aren't really even aware that the way is like blowing up buses and hundreds of people dying daily. That's I don't know. That's not. I want people to know that when they support the Intifada. You know, that's all I'm saying.
Would you say we're in a third Intifada right now?
Absolutely not.
No, we are.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. We're in it.
No,
Yes.
It's not official. It's just.
When is it official? Who's the Intifada official? Who's appointed? I'm the one who gets to say when it's an Intifada. Who's that?
A bunch of cities, yeah. When it's like a shitload of cities.
Well, wait, one or two things happen right now, right? Either it de-escalates or it escalates, right? Or it just kind of stays the same as it is. Like, what do you think is most likely?
We have a similar number of deaths on the Palestinian side.
No option for peace
as we
there?
had in 2022. We had the similar number of deaths as we had on the Palestinian side, as existed in the 2005, which people would consider an Intifada year.
Okay.
Why is it not an
So
Intifada now?
maybe this is a semantics thing that when you're using the word Intifada and all you mean is like Palestinian oppression and violence and protesting. That is not how I use the word intifada, and you might have the correct definition. It's just like colloquially, that's not what people mean when they say intifada. Now,
We
if
were
you're trying to,
specifically talking about the third intifada, not just any intifada. We were talking about the third intifada. There's no peaceful like thing that can stem from that.
People said that we're in a unity intifada. So I think you're pulling from an interview Barghouti did like a while ago, right? I mean, people are calling it today. If it was to be called anything, people will call it the unity intifada, right? That's how it's being called.
And like British broadcasters have also said that like people are they're already kind of starting to call this like the beginning of a third intifada. So yeah.
Here's the thing. I actually, let me say this. I abhor violence. I really do. I really do. I do not want people to die, right? That's why I tried to advocate. But I also understand that if you back people into a corner and you give them the three options I mentioned, forever occupation, ethnic cleansing into smaller and smaller Bantustans, and ethnic cleansing and then genocide, which is like the three choices you have in the Israeli spectrum. If you give them those if you put people in that situation, they're going to react with violence because you're putting them in a situation where they're scared out of their fucking mind. Okay?
I agree.
That's why I advocate. That's why I advocate for some intervention from other states to prevent Israel from creating these conditions. For example, sanctions. We should sanction Israel until they stop the settlement project. You know, if Palestinians feel they have a country as powerful as the United States protecting their interests, so that they feel safe, they're not going to. Yeah, they don't. That's why I'm advocating that the United States does that.
Let's say we sanction Israel. Hold on. Let's say we sanction Israel. Israel says, "Okay, we're gonna stop building in the settlements. No more new buildings." Then what? Then what?
Then we move forward from there. That's a great.
Dismantle the outposts. Might be another good step.
Yeah, dismantle the outposts. That's win number one among many. You know, listen, this is a
67 settlements.
There's a lot of work ahead of us. We have a lot of shit Israel did that we have to unfuck. You know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'd say
but
like,
it seems
let's say
that
Israel withdraws. From my opinion, right? Even if Israel like does like, it's a long road, very long road that we will have to like build up the Palestinian Authority, like make, because they don't even control like most of their cities that are under, like they don't have the power like even to control like. So they sometimes don't want like
we.
Israel, like they need to like
I don't want Israel to have anything to do with building up the Palestinian Authority.
Then like it's like let's say we do peace, right? Like we withdraw and say, okay, it's peace. Yeah, let's sign a deal. Like who's gonna stop like the terrorists coming into Israel?
I have a question. If you could, let's say this. Let's say you get let me just put the record out here straight. I would have a free West Bank and Gaza Strip as soon as I could take it. If I could get it tomorrow, I would. But let me ask you this: if your real concern is security, why is it that Israel must be the occupier? Why is it not some other country? Why is it not a UN force or a force from NATO? Everyone loves them apparently. You know, if your real concern is security, why not outsource it to somebody else? By allowing Israel to occupy the West Bank, you're enabling the settler movement because you're giving them access to the West Bank. Do you see?
Yeah.
Who do you think should go in and
I don't know.
UN, I guess.
The Swedes.
Or a certain country.
Albania.
The Swedes.
The Swedes.
Sure. Good one.
The Albanians. The
Swedes
Albanians. Sorry, the Albanians.
I mean, would you be okay with like if there was like a withdrawal from the West Bank and Gaza and the UN put some fucking blue hats in there to make sure?
No, I would not be okay with that. The UN does nothing. Like when they do like in South Lebanon, no, I would not be okay.
Who
it is pretty obviously whatchamacallit, they're not good right now. If you look at the UNRWA schools right now in Palestine, they're literally educating their kids in like Hitler Youth propaganda.
Oh god.
Are you sure about that? Okay.
Like this, even the schools in East Jerusalem, it's insane. Like that Israel.
I'm not asking them to take the schools.
It's insane how much their kids hate. Like if like
We're not talking about schools right now. We're talking about if you're. I'm asking you if your real concern
You
is
don't
security.
care about children learning.
Your real concern is security. Why make Israel do it?
Not a
You can get
concern.
somebody else to do the security.
Concern for security. Okay, got it.
Yeah, listen, if like all of the like if I don't think UN is gonna like the peacekeeping force is gonna be like something that
Okay, but it doesn't matter. It's what do you if your real concern is right security. If your real concern is security, why must Israel do it? Do you understand?
Yeah. If
okay,
listen, if I was in power,
by allowing
They
Israel
don't
to
care
maintain
about Israel's
occupation
security.
and
They just
make
care about
settlements.
is destroying Israel. That's why.
dude,
What,
if
the
I was
UN,
in power,
or-
I would stop building in the settlements, try to make the peace deal as fast as I could. Like, let's say, like I'd succeed, I would like evacuate most of the settlements, keep the big ones in, give some territory, sort of, give large parts of East Jerusalem to have a Palestinian state, have like UN and like NATO, like and like Arab state, like security assurances that if like there's like they will control the borders, they will like make sure like that we don't get like assaulted and all of that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like,
Now let me
is
ask you
that-
this: do the majority of Israelis agree with you on that?
No.
on a two-state solution,
No.
I don't know
here
the
then?
numbers
Why
right
are you
now.
here then?
Evan.
Why are you here then? Why don't you go to your own society and argue against what they're doing?
So on a two-states, I don't know
They
what's
don't trust
the
anybody
numbers.
else to protect themselves. They trust themselves to protect themselves. That's why Israel exists as a majority
Wait,
Jewish
wait,
state.
I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to Warthongs because he also understands.
Okay.
You tell me you're against the settler movement, but you're giving the settler movement their greatest prize, which is a forever occupation. Do you understand? You're not gonna get what you
Occupation,
want
no.
unless you go to
Yeah,
unless you go to your own society and make the changes. You're
I
coming
agree.
here.
I agree.
Why?
By the way, I agree. Yeah, we should.
That's
like,
so true. I'm right.
I agree with you that like Israel like should like yeah the society should change to be more like somewhat more left leaning to give like at least like a hope for the Palestinians to skip because building in the settlements like from the Palestinian point of view will just like make them like why would you even think that Israel wants peace, right? That it will be impossible.
Not from the Palestinian point of view. It's the world, okay, or any reasonable person, okay. I don't care. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't give a shit about Israeli perspective, Palestinian perspective. It's about what's reasonable. It's not. No one could reasonably look at the settlements and think Israel wants peace.
This is why you really this is why I end up fighting with people who I agree with politically. It's because this type of advocacy is so damaging. Like, with all due respect, I get that you don't care about the Israeli or the Palestinian perspective. I don't know what countries or the UN or NATO you think are going to step in and going to police Israel and Palestine. There is no support. There's no support in no country in the world for what you're suggesting.
I understand that, but
Wait,
here
no,
we
let
are.
me finish. Let me
I'll
finish.
let you finish.
Thank you. I think it would be amazing if we could just have the UN sanction Israel, bring in the UN, do all the shit, do all the good stuff. There is no support. And even if the reasonable person can look at the settlements and think what you do, fact of the matter is all the powers at B vehemently don't give a fuck about what you want. They support Israel, they don't support Palestine, they virtue signal that they care about Palestine while doing absolutely nothing. The fact of the matter is, if you don't care about the Israeli perspective and you're not trying to change the Israeli perspective and the Israeli government, you are not going to get anything, because Israel is trampling over Palestinian people right now, and the world is standing and watching, and Israel is just going to eat all of Palestine up, and there'll be nothing left to build a state. And there will be no one state solution when everyone's equal. It would just be full apartheid. This is doom. Your advocacy is doom. Like, seriously.
What, so you think
It's so
advocating
bad.
for people, so wait, but bearing in mind,
I
though,
agree
that
with
most of the audience that people like me and Beast are going to get are realistically Americans and Brits, right? Like, what if, like, I get what you're saying. So you think advocacy should be more sensitive to like the fears and concerns of Israelis, but then again, it's like we might also think that
No.
is that what you're
So
saying,
I don't-
or what?
No, because like,
Oh,
do you feel like in my rhetoric?
Can I
ju-
finish what you said though?
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Okay. So first, what I mentioned about a UN or a UN or a NATO, whoever, that was an illustrative point. I was trying to illustrate the pointlessness of Warthong's decision to advocate for forever occupation. You understand? That was to
Yeah.
illustrate
I
a
don't.
point.
That's not
Okay?
my.
I'm not. Do I think that the UN or the NATO are going to do shit? No. I don't think.
I didn't advocate
Next thing.
for.
I don't live in Israel. Like, I want you to know that I don't live in Israel. You understand? Israel is a country thousands of miles away from me.
Okay.
So
Are
like,
you kidding?
you understand? I have to advocate to Americans. What do I advocate for? America to change policy. American
Yes.
policy right now, as we look at it, it's shit. Would you agree with me?
Absolutely.
Okay, my policy prescription for the Americans is to use sanctions in order to, prevent Israel from continuing the settler project. Because I think I've looked it over. I think that's the thing is going to be necessary to break the camel's back with Israel. Okay.
Was there peace before the settlement?
This is a policy that is necessary. It's not a policy that I'm wishfully thinking about, right? Or it's not an ask. You know what I mean? This is I think the thing this is from my perspective, right? From what I believe is reasonable to expect. This is the thing that is necessary to change the politics on the part of the Americans. If we don't do this, I don't think anything else will solve the problem.
Yes. Do you think that if you do this, the problem will be solved? Because even if America puts sanctions, I don't think that would be enough. I mean, depending on what sanctions.
Israel is a
It
tiny.
wouldn't solve the problem.
Israel is a tiny country. Come on.
I
Yeah,
know. But
it
wait.
won't be that-
So
You're not gonna survive.
It's a step in the right direction, but it won't solve anything.
I don't think it's a step in the right. Sanctions against Israel will just push more voters to the right.
The voters are already right wing.
Yeah, I don't know how much.
Can I
I mean,
finish
obviously,
my-
if the settlement
Katie,
was
wait,
stopped-
hey, Katie was going to talk about like I guess like better advocacy then, like maybe you've got like an alternative.
Yeah, Loner, I was gonna respond just very quickly to what Beast. Like, I get what you're saying. I think sanctions are good and like it's all you can do. I just think like it's so far away from anything America is close to doing. I just feel like there's time better spent elsewhere, but maybe I'm wrong. I just think that like I know what this sounds like to people who actually are more close to posing solutions. So, but yeah, we can talk about that more. So, Loner,
Yeah. What do you want to? How do you propose? How do you
so I was
propose
just saying.
an
Mhm.
American government force Israel to stop the settlements, right? For example.
Oh, I can't propose that. There's no way in hell America is going to intervene to that much of a disadvantage of Israel. There's no support for that.
Then we're doomed.
Yes, unless you can make Israel like stop being this shitty, which I'd argue is too late. But I think changing 7 million people's views is a lot easier than making the American government give a fuck about what happens to Palestinians.
Well, put it
I'm
this,
gonna
well,
be very
maybe
honest with
maybe
you.
here's a suggestion. Okay, like so in the UK at least, we were like only a few thousand votes away from a prime minister who wanted to recognize a Palestinian state. In America, they didn't. I mean, Bernie was far off, but he wasn't like as far off as he was 10 years ago. And not
Yeah.
even to mention that, like, I think every year consistently for like over a decade now is like Democrat voters have gone more in favor of Palestine. I think when it comes to settlements are kind of like the hardest thing to defend, like rhetorically and like politically, right? And now that they're kind
Yeah.
of the centerpiece of the discourse, that like increasing Democrat support for Palestinians will only keep increasing. The only reason Biden doesn't do anything now is because he's got Republicans to worry about, so he doesn't want to spend any political capital. But if you get to a
Yeah.
stage where like 3/4 of Democrat voters are supporting ending the settlements and like taking action in Israel, like I don't see why that's so inconceivable in the near future, right?
It's
I-
not that.
You're so right. You are so based, and you are so handsome.
everyone in this chat, by the way, I think like doesn't
Habibi.
agree with settlements, right? Everyone in this like call doesn't want like the settlements to keep building. So there is like, and in Israel, like there's a big majority that like don't support the settlements. I think
That's
like
not
if you
true.
There's a big majority.
That's just
Okay.
not true.
There's again the votes right now split literally 50-50. Like the left coalition lost because like a certain party didn't pass like the minimum like voting requirements, and like those votes like went to waste.
Yeah,
And
that's not
Okay,
what. But okay.
so whatever.
yeah,
Listen,
but hold on,
listen.
hold on. What United States can, I mean, I guess if we're being realistic, what it can do, I mean, United States like has a trade deal with Israel, like arms trade deal. It can dangle that like for some assurances. Like it's a very big discount on some of the weapons Israel buys. That can
No, I don't
have
think a
some
discount
effect.
is enough. I don't think a discount is enough.
Well, that's no, the discount is what the United States is doing now. Um,
No, I mean, providing a discount or taking it away. I don't think that's enough.
well, I
Okay,
think doing something very
be
drastic.
real with me. Be real with me. What?
Can I
what variable-
respond? Like, Lonerbox asked me something, and then everyone talked except for me.
Oh,
May
yeah,
I?
I did.
I understand, but I'm the only
Hey,
Palestinian on this
I
chat.
didn't talk for
So-
once, okay?
Okay.
I was patient.
Kay's a woman. There's a lot of oh shit, that's a difficult one.
She's a white woman.
Oh, no,
I
wait.
think
So
the-
yeah, Kay
she's
responded
a
to
white
me.
woman.
Kay's responded to me, and then Beast can go. Right.
Yeah, Loner. So, like, obviously, pushing for international recognition is important. It's just that, like, you gave an example for, like, we were just a few votes away from recognizing, Israel. Like, the UK was a few thousand votes away from recognizing Palestine. I apologize.
Hmm.
Recognizing Palestine does not mean, like, even if more countries are going to be recognizing Palestine, the international community is not dedicated in any meaningful way to actually support Palestine. So I do agree. So they can recognize it. It's just that it's not like they're actually going to intervene in any meaningful way. Germany has a lot of sway in Europe, and Germany has their own interests why they can't push hard on Israel, even if they absolutely agree with them. But the issue is mostly Americans. What I'm saying is, like, in terms of my advocacy, and I wanted to ask you, like, do you feel like when I was talking to Warthongs, do you feel like I was buying into this fear-mongering shit that Israeli people do?
No.
I was very explicit
No.
with how I talked, right? So
Yeah.
I think that there's a way to explain to Israeli people that it would be better for our interest to do a two-state solution, but we have to do it now. Because
you were talking about a one-state solution with me, not a two. I support the two-state solution.
No,
That's
she
why-
wait. But when
Yeah,
Katie
you
was saying
don't
give
seem
them
to
a state and give them money, you were like, no, not now, right? That was the difference. Anyway.
No, I said like what is like the assurance like that they won't like keep like doing terror attacks.
yes,
What's the
and then we talked about it, and you said that you'll keep your religious fanatics from not going into their territory, so they're gonna do the same. So this is bullshit. Stop doing
They're
this.
under different rules if they're a country rather than whatever they are right now. It's just different rules. They're kind of avoiding having to go there.
They don't even have like it's a long
Whatever.
process that
I
again
wanna
we need to strengthen.
respond. I want to respond. To Katie's point. Listen. You're saying, if I get this right, that the fastest route to ending the occupation is to go to Israelis and speak with them and ask them to and try to convince them instead of trying to get America and convince Americans to adopt sanctions.
Yeah, I do believe that.
Okay.
You just have to make the Israelis trust that the Palestinians are safe. That's it.
I disagree. Okay. First,
Okay, that's fair.
First, we have to be. From my perspective, that makes no sense. Why? Because I live in America. I'd be wasting my time trying to speak to people who aren't in my own country.
That's fair.
I have to speak to people in my country. You understand? So from my perspective, even if you're right, if it's a better use of your time to speak with Israelis, for me, it's not, because I live here. I live where I do. If you're telling people not to do anything in the United States or not to push for anything, right? You're
No, that's
essentially
not what
asking
I'm
them-
saying.
Okay. So in America, you would say, if you were to talk to Americans right now, right? Americans like me.
Yeah.
Would you tell them that the thing they should do is advocate for sanctions?
I think yes, advocating for sanctions is good.
Okay. And I,
Advocating for all. I'm just saying, and maybe this is a bit too nuanced to this type of like brain cancer that we're engaging this right now. But I'm saying that as you're advocating for sanctions, people need to be more careful with their rhetoric so they don't feed into narratives that make it very easy for Israeli people, like war thongs were doing this entire time, to like try to dodge accountability for like doing the right thing. So it's more about that whenever I hear Palestinian advocates, I feel like they're not careful enough with their rhetoric, and that really alienates like Israeli people that then I try to fight. And it's really hard to fight that when they just heard a Palestinian person say that the Intifada isn't, it's about protesting,
I get
that's what
but
I mean.
imagine a
what you
world.
should advocate for
Hold
is
on.
something
Imagine a
different.
world where we have to walk on eggshells because of war thongs. Do you want to live in a world like that?
So we can talk about
I
walking
don't want
on.
to live in a world like that, but in the world that I live in, which is Israel, most people are even more extreme than war thongs. So I have to for my advocacy, although I agree it's not necessarily fair of me to ask you to live in that world. I'm just saying you're making my world just more difficult, but that's valid, That's just like the worlds that we live in. So
I think what anyone should advocate for is more cooperation and not like some one-sided thing. Like if you think sanctions will help like the Palestinian-Israeli conflict in any way, it's insane. Like it will just push like Israelis to be more like to the right. Like they would say, okay, like now
already do that.
Yeah, but
they're already right wing. What is this?
you-
They're already right wing.
Can I
you
just say
We're
though,
doing
like,
nothing now.
but it's like right now.
The
Split about
government's
50-50.
far right. The far right.
The youth. If they were
It will
the
become
only ones to
more
win, the right
right.
wing would have 70 seats.
You understand that it will be more right if you do like sanctions in Israel.
war thongs.
Right than this.
Hey,
What are you talking about?
wait. Hey, stop. War thongs. So, would you say right now then that the United States basically gives Israel like free reign, right? You probably don't disagree with that right now.
Almost.
Now,
yeah.
I would argue that free reign makes Israel more right wing because free reign means Israel gets to like allow some of the outposts to continue. Even like now they're talking about naturalizing some of them. It allows them to continue settlements, and that is kind of the big cause of what. That's kind of a big part of what causes
make
and
Israel more
the
far
intifada
right.
that seems to be possibly happening right now is in part because of Israel's flagrant encroachment onto the West Bank. And when that happens, then the result is that Israel becomes more right wing, right? So even if America doesn't twist Israel's arm at all, then Israel does the things that makes Israel more right wing, right?
First of all,
If you
can do it
expand
gently.
settlements, you inspire attacks, civilians die, Israel becomes more right wing.
You can do it gently, like just demanding one steps from Israel without demanding like anything from the other side is like I think it's wrong. Like if America can do something, it can like dangle the budget that it gives Israel to like promote cooperation and also like promote cooperation from the
What do you
Palestinian
want
side.
to ask from the Palestinians? They already have nothing. What do you want them to
Go on
give?
the negotiation table. To say that
Abbas
they're not
literally went.
Jesus.
Okay, do you know what J Street is? It is an American Jewish lobbying group. Abbas literally went to who want a two-state solution, right? Abbas literally went there to them in order to have a conference about negotiating. The Israelis are the ones refusing negotiation.
Listen, if you want Israel
J
offered,
Street, do they
He
support
traveled to the
BDS?
United States.
Israel
He spoke
offered
to a
number
he spoke
of
to he
Wait,
spoke to
I have
J Street,
a-
and then
Israel offered a
What do
number
you
of
want from
peace
it?
deals. The last serious one was in 2008. It was like a huge like peace deal that Israel offered.
Wait,
And, like,
war thongs. I have a question. Do you think Israel wants negotiations? Be honest.
on this current government, no.
Okay, in the previous government?
In with the leader was Naftali Bennett, also no. Like
Okay, the previous government.
with Yair Lapid, yes, I think so.
He
Yes.
literally
How
said
many
he wouldn't be
concessions?
negotiating
Wait,
with-
How
Okay,
many
okay.
concessions do you think that the last government, so like 3 governments ago with Yair Lapid, which wasn't even a full 4 terms government, how many concessions do you think Yair Lapid was going to make?
Again, in my opinion, like what's the best
Yes.
thing to do in the advocacy form to solve this?
No, answer my question.
Probably not a lot. It doesn't have a lot of political power. Like the best thing to do is like to have like strengthen the left parties in this, like basically strengthen left parties in Israel to have them, like be more open to peace. Basically, you have to have the other side also. Like for Israel to go more to the left side and to, be more peace, they need to like first of all grow out of the second Intifada, right? And grow out of the 2005 disengagement plan. For Palestinians also, they need to like grow out of like Israel, like occupying them, building the settlements, like all of that. Like both sides needs to kind of like reconcile and like meet on some levels that they're uncomfortable with.
Okay,
And
so
that's
my
what you should
point was
advocate for. And for
It needs
Israel
to be
to like,
taught to coexist.
yeah, for
my
Israel,
point was
That's it.
my point was that you cannot talk about like Palestinians needing to come to the negotiation table when you yourself admit and you know that since basically Ehud Olmert, there hasn't been a prime minister who is actually interested in negotiations. Even when Israel sits at the negotiation table, it is best for Israeli interests to delay as much as possible.
I think it's best for
Any-
Israeli interest to have a peace process.
Both delay right now because
Yes,
of the
to
extremists
have the
that are
process
literally threatening
indeed.
the
They don't have to
process
make
of peace.
concessions
the
during the
government.
process.
On
I
both
think-
sides, they're extremists.
Yeah, right now the Israeli government, like, yeah, I agree with you. It's like an issue. It's more Israeli government will be more right wing like that. Like it's gonna be harder and harder in the future, and every year that goes by, it's gonna be harder because the settlements are being built, and it just complicates things.
Make
So-
people more
Trust
right
the
wing,
right-
but they're already getting right winged like this. So how do we
But
make
why
them
are they
left
getting
wing?
more right-wing, Kate?
Wait.
Because they
We
trust the right
strengthen
with their
the
safety
left,
more than the
the
left because
left, the left wing parties who have died in Israel. There are no more left wing parties in Israel. They have all died out. So your solution is we strengthen those that don't even pass the election anymore.
Yeah, but you wanted to advocate for Israelis, right? Like I agree with you.
You say
Yeah,
that
we
about
should
America
advocate for
too, though.
Israelis, and we also advocate for Palestinians. Like to like try to make them see the other side like as much as possible. Try
No,
to not teach them hate to kill Jews,
Just
right?
make you. I don't want to make Palestinians see the other side.
Why? Why? Like, do you think like the solution will only come from Israel? Like, do you not think like the other side needs to come?
Is it
towards
not fair
Israel
to
as
say
well?
that one side kind of has like a lot more of the sway because one side has a state?
Yes, one
Like
more
I would
power.
imagine, like if there was a demand to like
I-
stop the expansion of settlements, like what are the Palestinians like realistically supposed to give in exchange for that?
What do you mean? What do they have to give in
Well,
exchange?
that's because
It
you said,
doesn't-
because I think Warthong seems to be constantly talking about how there's this like, well, Israel needs to do this, Palestine needs to do this, there needs to be like these concessions. But like, if one of the demands was just like stop the expansion of settlements, what should Palestinians or like PA or like Hamas, what should any of those
There's probably an
factions
ultimatum for
concede for
peace
that?
from the Palestinian side. Like the Palestinian side won't come to the negotiation table unless Israel first stops building in the settlements. Like that's their ultimatum
True.
to this day.
Abbas is trying to negotiate.
There's these rejectionist fronts on both sides that do not
Abbas
want
is the
to
recognized
give in to
president.
anything.
You can make
It's
Abbas is the recognized
Ongoing.
president. He is the listen. I'm telling you this. It doesn't matter. Rejectionist fronts doesn't matter in Palestine because unfortunately it's a dictatorship, And I would want to make it not a dictatorship right now, but at the moment that's what we have right now. That's what we're dealing with. Abbas is the one who makes the decision. What does it matter? He wants to negotiate now.
yeah, their most moderate
Absolutely.
parties like literally are not that moderate in terms of in the world. So
Is that
I don't
related
know.
to my point?
Yeah, it's not nothing to do with the
Kind of.
point at hand. Okay.
I'm just saying BDS in 20 years hasn't done nearly as much as the government has done, the far-right government has done in terms of defunding Israel.
Well, that's because BDS has never really been the same kind of like united front. Like, first of all, BDS has been like just really like BD, right? And mostly
BDS
just
is
B.
part of
There's not really
Barghouties,
been much.
clan.
There's not really been much S involved in the BDS thing. Anyway, sanctions.
Well, BDS
but-
is part of
Listen,
Barghouties clan's
If
thing,
you
right?
want to
He
argue the
created it.
Israelis are better at getting themselves sanctioned, go ahead. I don't care. Who cares?
I think both sides like should advocate for working together and not have like stuff like sanctions and stuff like that will just
Okay,
like make
war
people more
thongs?
extreme.
More things.
Yeah.
So are you saying that Israel, that has the most power and at the end of the day needs to make the most concessions, and every time you and I talked, you have given solutions that I myself has given. So it
Yeah, we're
sounds
not
to me
so
like
different
wait.
here,
So it sounds to me like you're telling me I need Palestinians to talk nicer to me. Like, I really don't know what the prescription is for Palestinians to do.
For me,
Israelis don't care how they talk; it's just how they act. Like Israelis actually probably want them to talk blunt to them because that's how Israelis kind of are.
Okay.
Whoa.
So you mean that you want the oppressed group that you keep in cages to act nicer to you? You want the tiger not to bite you as you're
Just
poking
not
it with
kill,
a rod
just
inside
not-
a cage,
Not
correct?
jihad. Is that too much to ask? No jihad.
Okay.
I feel
Listen
like-
to my question.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let's say you have an Israeli military jeep, okay, and it's going to the West Bank, and you have a Palestinian. He throws like a Molotov cocktail at it. Is that jihad in your mind?
Okay, what happens if there's a cocktail? It could be.
Molotov
It depends
cocktail.
on
It's
his
a
motive.
Molotov cocktail at an Israeli military occupying a jeep.
It's depending on his motive, but it wouldn't be seen as like civilians.
Let's
so
say
it wouldn't be-
his motive is that there's an Israeli military city, and he's upset by it.
Sure. I mean, what
support it.
Is that okay for Israelis to do the thing if they hear that about the Palestinians, that the Palestinians are doing things to the
Palestinians as a
Israelis?
whole? Wait, Palestinians as a whole? I'm specifically talking about a military target right now.
It's not okay for anybody to incite that stuff. If the kid just does it on his own without being incited, then obviously it's different. But the kid is being incited by other sources to do these things right now.
So
So
you're against incitement
Palestinian
against military
civilians-
targets, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Palestinian civilians
Well,
are not
military
even allowed
targets-
to attack soldiers. Is that what we're saying
Well,
now?
if they attack soldiers, their life will be in danger. So if they want to do that, their life
Oh,
will be
you're
in
worried
danger.
about their health.
Hold
That's
on.
so
What's happening?
nice.
No.
So either they
Hold
accept-
on. Let
they
me speak. Let me
accept-
speak.
Okay.
What's happening? They throw Molotov cocktail, right? Like if the soldier's life in danger, he will respond with live fire. Like if a soldier's life in danger, he will respond to live fire. Let's say it's a 16-year-old kid, he dies. Bam, you have like a huge funeral. 8 more people become more extremists. Like they go in, we're not gonna throw Molotov cocktails, we're gonna revenge his death, we're gonna go in with a bomb to an Israeli like settler village and like try to blow up some civilians. That's what you
And
like.
he learns
What's
this in
happening?
the
Hold on,
UNRWA
you
schools.
can't just add to wait. You can't just add to my hypothetical another like wing story. Okay,
That's
come on.
what's happening. Like
Cycle
I-
can be
because
cut
I-
off
I'm
by
using
the
hypothetical to
indoctrination
illustrate
you
a point. I'm
get.
using
Can be
it to
cut
illustrate
off,
a
but that's
point.
not happening, is it? You don't
What?
care about the Hitler Youth indoctrination and the jihadi thing for the kids, because that is the problem that keeps the cycle going.
No,
it
that
isn't.
is not.
It's-
You are delusional.
it is
You
part
are
of the
so
process.
full
It
of
is
hope.
part
wanna
of
know
the
what they
wait,
were
process.
saying?
wait.
Want to say what they were saying in 1920 at the Nebi Musa riots, like literally the first big riots. You know
Wait.
what they were saying about Jews?
One at a time.
Let me read this.
Hold on.
I'm
You
sure.
know what? You know
I'm
what?
sure none of us have ever heard of the fact that there was
Guys,
anti-Semitism
it's
in the Middle East.
part
Okay,
of
but
the
wait, hang
problem.
on,
Yes.
hang on. Hitler Youth, Katie, you respond. Jesus.
Yeah. You saying that what keeps the cycle going is Palestinians having a very natural reaction to being oppressed for over 80 years.
The Nazis
Is-
had a
Shut
natural
the
reaction too.
fuck up, you asshole! Shut up!
Oh, we love Israelis. We just love Israelis here. Okay, sorry.
It's
Katie, yeah, go.
bullshit.
What's
Remember the
causing
Holodomor?
the cycle, what started the cycle, and what would end the cycle is the ending of oppression. It doesn't matter how bad Palestinians try to act out against the oppression. And I don't support hurting civilians. I'm a civilian. I will be a target. I don't think that's a good thing. But fact of the matter is, as long as there's oppression, Palestinians literally would never have enough power to harm Israel the way Israel harms them every day. If you can't get that, then you're stupid.
Stupid. Kate,
There
like
was
you
the
need to
power,
understand.
in the 1920s until the Jewish people needed to defend themselves. So where was the power that the Jews had? They had to get the power.
Luckily, now you have the power, and now you're putting a bunch of Palestinians in ghettos. I hope this is a
What
great
has
lesson
changed
you
in
learned from the
100
Holocaust.
years?
I'm happy.
Literally
I'm happy
nothing.
Jews went through the Holocaust so we can Holocaust other people. I
Hey,
think that was a very good idea. Okay.
There is a cycle
Fuck
of
you,
violence.
dude.
Hold on, Kate. There is a cycle of violence that makes both sides more extreme. You have to kind of work on that from both sides. You have to quell like that what they teach in schools in Palestinians and what like how much they view as a settler as a legitimate target, like all of that, how they give candy out.
What
when
did
Jews
you learn in school? What did you learn in school about Independence Day, about the Nakba? What did you learn?
Kate, I agree with you.
Ooh.
Israel should do that too. I agree with you. It's not a one
Then
side
what
thing.
the
It's
fuck
not.
do you want?
I want for both sides to
Both
come
sides.
to
Why?
both sides.
Why?
Because that's how peace process work. You don't say, okay, just one side's got to do peace because Israel holds more power. So just Israel is responsible 100%
Just to
for
let
everything
you know,
that's
the
happening.
one-sided people in
listen
this
to me.
conversation
War
actually want war. They don't actually want peace.
Warthongs. If I come and start beating you up to the ground and then you start beating me back, it is my responsibility to stop beating you. This is not that hard to understand.
Warthongs,
Well,
just a
look
quick
at-
question. If
let's
you
go
think,
back
wait,
100
hey,
years
hey,
to
no,
where
no,
a lot
no,
of
wait,
these
sorry, I
problems
don't,
started.
like, I really want to, I'm really excited to learn what happened 100 years ago. Warthongs, you said there's a cycle of violence. Do you think both sides have equal ability or equal obligation to break that cycle?
Again, I think from there are parts that Israel has to do like more steps. Like obviously Israel is the one that needs to like give up territory, all of that. Like a lot of steps that Israel needs to do. It's like a lot of concessions, right? But so does the Palestinians have to, like it's both sides. I'm not saying like 50-50. Yeah, maybe Israel needs to do like a bit more of the pooling, but definitely Palestinians
Yes,
need to do a lot of
95-5. Good.
Based.
no,
We're in
no,
agreement.
no. There needs to be a lot, like a huge. It's not even talked about,
Alright.
like how.
We'll compromise. We'll compromise. 94-6.
No, it's like you're fucking in the Arab market. No, it's gonna be
I was sure
55.
you'd be mad at me that I gave
that's
5%
very-
to Palestinians.
gonna be
You're so
55.
charitable.
That's
45.
racist. Haggling isn't exclusive to Arabs, and just because I haggle doesn't mean I'm in an Arab market. Warthongs.
That's what I
Mm.
know. Okay, listen, I'm racist. Okay.
We did it.
By the way, schools in
It's
Israel. Yeah.
over.
Point from Kate. Yeah, they don't really teach about the Nakba. They did. By the way, I was taught some of the Israeli war crimes at school. Kfar Yassin massacre. We were taught about that, and other.
What did they tell you that happened during the Nakba? What they told me in school was that we declared independence of Israel, and then most of the Palestinians were very scared and they ran.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's.
simplistic.
By the way, yeah, the ethnic cleansing of what happened in '48. Pretty much, that's. They don't really talk about that.
No, they fucking don't.
They don't really talk about that. I think I don't want to quote me on that, but I think in school they're talking about like the Arab armies, like told them like to leave. I'm not sure if that's what they teach in school. I don't remember, but they really don't talk about the Nakba, which is for me. I grew up thinking the Nakba was just Palestine being like fucking pissed off, like for losing the war. That's how I grew up with thinking
Yeah.
what the Nakba is,
Yeah.
until I like read more about it.
So maybe instead of obsessing about what Palestinians teach their kids in like run-down schools while they
Yeah, but
have
Palestinians-
no human rights is not the focus you should have.
But Palestinians do not like learn about, like they celebrate, like right now we look at the Nakba and we say, like at least some like a portion of the yeah, this ethnic cleansing is bad, like stuff like that. Like giving out candies in the street.
You're
and,
right,
Like,
War Songs, you're right. We don't celebrate. We're very sad about the Palestinians dying as we throw bombs from the heavens at them. And we feel very bad about it as we keep throwing the bombs. Oh, we are so sad about the Palestinians. And they laugh as they have no power and no human rights.
so if, by the way, when Hamas launches rockets like from the Gaza Strip, you think that Israel shouldn't bomb them like at all? And
I think that if you want to allow yourself to use air targets, there's a reason Israel uses the air targets now, is because we don't want to sacrifice our own troops. So basically, we're
so we should
cowards.
sacrifice
Whoa.
our own troops. Like, is that like a tactic? Like, we should like have like completely like.
Oh,
have
Katie wants to do the
rifles.
jihad on the Israeli side. Apparently,
Yeah, well,
'cause
I
that's
think,
what
you know what? I
Katie
think we should like civilians. You know what? I'm gonna build a rocket. I'm just gonna launch fucking rockets into Gaza. That's what I'm gonna
I
do.
bet you
video-
would.
whoa,
Like,
whoa,
I
whoa,
have
whoa,
no
whoa,
doubt
whoa.
that you'd do that.
In a video in Minecraft.
Like, okay, War Thongs, let's just say we granted like everything to you. Let's just say like, yeah, you're probably like Palestinians need like better leadership than Hamas. Yeah, the education system probably needs to change. I think there's a big problem like in the West Bank where like a lot of people don't really consider the way that like a lot of like Mizrahi Jews ended up being expelled from like the Arab states and all that shit. So yeah, let's say there's all this kind of reconciliation that needs to happen on the other side as well. Again, you're going to agree that the first move to even get us close to that situation comes from Israel, right?
And probably, yeah, with like a mediation from a bigger, stronger state that like helps the two sides to talk about it, like bring them to the negotiation table.
Based.
They
Beast, do you have
to
anything to
agree,
say?
and then Israel has to make the first step.
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what I believe anymore.
Sounds like Aya and War Thongs are just like, why can't Palestinians be nicer as I'm kicking them in the balls? Why do they have to yell at me? Why do they have to try to kick me back as I like emasculate them and pull their guts out? Why do I have to do
When
that?
did the problem start, Katie, in Israel?
When
in
Israel was
Palestine?
It doesn't
founded.
matter when.
Wait, can I discuss?
Oh, okay. So in 1920, when they
This
were
is like
saying
When
death to Jews,
Israel was
Palestine is our land,
founded
and
was
Jews
my
are our
answer.
dogs, that was
This
in
is like the
1920.
When Israel was founded, Arya. When Israel was founded.
Yeah,
Pounded.
I'm saying, why were they saying death to Jews, Palestine is our land, and Jews are our dogs in 1920 then?
Hold on. First, let's
What?
talk. What you're going through right now.
Look up
is
the
a-
Nebi
wait, wait,
Musa
wait,
riots in
is a
1920.
Kahana-
That was the first kind of
Kahana-
big anti-Zionist riots that they had, and they were saying
is-
death to Jews,
this is a
Palestine is our
Kahana
land,
talking
and
point.
Jews
You
are our
understand
dogs. Does that
right?
sound like a
Ari,
nice place right now?
Do you
Ari.
think anti-Semitism started in the 1920s, Arya? It hadn't. What the fuck are
Oh,
you
guess
talking
what?
about?
What are they learning in their schools today?
Oh my lord.
What
Listen,
does it
listen.
matter? You are so
Nothing has
dead. You are
changed.
Wait.
so sad.
Wait, let's let Beast respond to the question.
So, I read Kahana's book. They Must Go. Where you're fundamentally engaging in.
Honest,
One of,
we're removed.
Well, yeah,
We're being careful.
yeah, hold on.
God exists
please
anymore.
do not interrupt me. You're censoring me by interrupting me. No, please.
Oh,
This is the Kahana's talking point. Why is it a Kahana's talking point? The idea is essentially that the the Palestinians, for one reason or another, Kahana says because we're evil inherently or whatever, we didn't accept Zionism, we didn't accept Jews in total, and going back to 1920, 1929, 19 whatever, as evidence for this, and that therefore there's no solution in the future, and therefore because there's no solution and there's no way to change their minds, that we have to engage in an ethnic cleansing. That's basically his argument.
Them and a bunch of the Arab parties that say the same thing, but still exist and aren't being removed from governments. Let's say Hezbollah in Lebanon, or Ownerbox loves. Oh, they also have a Nazi party. Look it up. The Syrian.
disavow, by the way. Disavow Hezbollah. Anyway, to maybe come back with your question then. Do you know much about the Rwandan genocide, Ari?
I haven't looked it up recently. I might have a while ago, but no.
So you know how like the Hutus committed a genocide against the Tutsis, even though like in the 90s, but in the 50s and way before then, the Tutsis were the majority power group. They were a monarchy, and they were the wealthy minority group who oppressed and subjugated the Hutus. So like you can't just look back at what happened like 5, 6, 7, 8 decades ago and say, oh, well, they were like anti-Semitic to us. Like that's completely irrelevant. The only thing that's really relevant is the human rights situation that we have today. And the human rights situation we have today is that Israel has the state and the weight of international support behind it. Palestinians have fuck all, which is why if there's going to be any kind of like peace or moving forward, the first move has to come from the state that has the ability to make a first move, which is Israel.
Well, that's what I actually said earlier. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if you
well,
heard
we
me,
kinda
but
So why do you
have
keep
to
bringing
agree
up
on this.
1920s fucking quotes from people who were anti-Semitic like it's
Because I'm
any
saying
relevance?
nothing in the culture has really changed. They're still doing this like as a part of their
Sure.
culture, and this is what's happened. And if they need to change that for peace to happen,
Do you think living under
What
occupation
culture?
and siege and
it weren't
like,
an occupation in 1920, loaner box.
do you think
By the Jews.
I mean, we
By the
were.
Jews,
do
they
you
were.
think-
By Britain, they were.
They were.
Yet they attacked the Jews anyways.
do you think living under occupation and siege and having no like barely any opportunity and or living as refugees where you can see your house from across the hill and shit, do you think living under those circumstances begets like, I don't know, enlightened, peaceful, like well-meaning people? Do you think those conditions generally have that impact?
There's obviously things that are exaggerating the problem or making it worse. Yes.
Like the occupation? Yeah, that's fair.
Listen, like the occupation
Settlements
does
are one of
exaggerate the
those
problem,
things
but
that are
also the
making problem
education.
worse, but it's not going to solve the problem if you stop the occupation. That's not the
Yeah, removing the
settlements.
occupation is not going to solve the
Yeah,
problem.
it won't.
Oh my
It
god,
actually
you guys are
won't.
so
They need to-
sad.
Look at the
By
UN
By itself, it
242
won't.
resolution.
Both sides need to come to an agreement. That's first of all. The Palestinian Authority needs to you need to strengthen it. Like whatever authority it wants to do peace. I'm not talking about like whatever, whoever is in control. You need to strengthen it, make it like to control its borders, right? That's first. Like change its education to be more peaceful. We want like security. We don't want like what we did in 2005, where we withdrew from Gaza, right? And we still have terrorists. We don't want like to do the same thing, like stop the occupation, withdraw everything from the West Bank, and then have like rockets launched just from like the hills.
You are being super disingenuous. You know no one supports withdrawing everything from the West Bank. You are arguing a reality that no one in Israel
And
supports.
stopping the occupation would mean withdrawing from the West Bank. What do you mean? What is stopping the occupation?
No, we would never sign on that. We are not withdrawing from the West Bank.
What is stopping the occupation?
What is stopping the occupation?
Yes.
What?
What do you mean by stopping the occupation?
Wait, do you mean by withdrawing from the West Bank, do you mean clearing out settlements? Or do you just mean withdrawing forces?
Obviously, we have to, or they'll be massacred. Yeah, we'll have to like withdraw like the settlement, or we'll protect them. There's no other way.
We're not going to withdraw most of the settlements. There's going to be like territory exchange, basically.
Yeah, but I'm saying like withdraw some of the settlements. Yeah, we will have to, or we'll have to protect them with soldiers, or they'll be massacred.
They'll be massacred. Why do you say that? That is so.
If we have no protections for
what?
No Israeli protections.
What about
what will happen to you? You are afraid to go to Jerusalem. What do you think will happen to you if you go to like Hebron?
If you think that Israeli settlements would be massacred when we have a peace treaty with Palestinians, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I mean,
I don't think you understand what a peace treaty is.
If there's a peace treaty, I agree, it will be different. Like if today we withdraw from the West Bank, like what you're saying, stopping the occupation is one-sided, like a one-sided move.
For what it's worth, right? Like a lot of these like anti-colonial movements, when it came to like the British leaving countries in like Africa, or the French leaving, there was maybe like, I think Algeria was one where there were massacres and the French settlers had to leave. But generally speaking, like whether it's Kenya or South Africa or Ghana, like when you give equal rights, like the people who were there from like settlers, they tend not to get massacred. It's like tends to not happen after like peace has been made or after consent has been made.
What about our security right now?
I agree with
you go on and on about Palestinian terrorists threatening Israeli security, but right now Palestinians are threatened by Israel and Israeli settlers. What about our security?
Well, they're Jewish. It's different. How don't you get this?
No, it's
All
it's
right.
it's a really
Okay, good job.
it's literally like living under occupation. You don't have like the people that you can 100% support on for security. Like the Israeli will always side with the Jews, right? Like the IDF. The Palestinian Authority is like shitty and like will fuck beat you. Like literally, I have friends who work in checkpoints. They like Palestinian Authority is like the security forces very awful. They beat the people who they arrest. They put them in jails for no reason. Like it's shitty to live.
Authority isn't perfect. Yeah.
Okay, but like I'm saying, you go on and on about first we have to make Israelis feel safer. Like,
Trust
but
is
like
both
you know the
sides.
majority.
It needs to be
Excuse me.
built on both sides.
Yeah, I think
No,
both sides needs to like make
I
steps.
don't
It's
really,
not that hard.
I don't really see a lot of progress here. I see it like I kind of took like a second to sit back and watch you guys hash it out, but I don't see any progress here. This is
What do you mean?
essentially why I feel you guys
Do they
lose.
think
to
the
the
I agree.
Israeli
I
Israeli
agree
presence
with
in
it.
the
Both
school
sides needs to
is
be
okay as long as they call their enemies colonizers or whatever.
settlers. Yeah, for them, settlers is like an
They
legitimate target.
love
to kill.
the
Okay,
Hitler
wait,
Youth
who the
stuff.
wait,
If
wait,
it-
wait,
if
you
it
can
supports their
fight the
Arab
fucking wait.
supremacy.
Hey, you can fight the like straw man in the room if you want. Like
I can go any day on this with you. Let's
what?
talk
You
about
I
don't-
just told you,
you
to
don't
fight
seem
against
to
a straw man.
understand
Shut the
anyone's
fuck up.
points.
All right, I'm muting him. All right. I think at least we got from Warthongs that for all the you feel like I don't know if it's like a rhetorical thing because you seem very happy to concede that a lot of the power the bulk of the power lies with Israel and the first move has to come from Israel and they're the ones who can like make the first step and everything with regard to settlements and all the rest of it. But then it's always coming back to this both sides. I don't even know if people like disagree that like that in a peace. Like in a peace situation, there would probably be changes in the side of Palestinians as well. Like probably
No,
Hamas
but
wouldn't be a
yeah,
very
I'm talking about
popular force, but like but obviously you're still conceding though that like this is a very imbalanced both sides, right?
It is, yeah, Israel holds the majority of the power. But I'm saying today, like changes needs to be made in the Palestinian sides and in the Israeli sides, right?
What
Today,
changes in the Palestinian side?
we talked about it, like the education.
Give me one. Okay, what? How is Palestinian education centralized?
Like, do you want like me to go in like the schools with guns and like point the gun to their head and tell the teacher? Like, no, obviously not like
Who?
that. The Palestinian
Then
Authority
who? Then make
sanction them.
prescriptions
Oh,
that
well,
make
we should
sense.
sanction the Palestinian Authority to change their like. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Advocate for it. Advocate for both sides to work on like improving, like try to understand the other side better and like improve the education.
Yeah, and obviously,
Right.
but that's obviously there's
What are
not
you
much chance. There's
talking
no
about?
chance of even starting that conversation as settlements keep expanding, right?
So what we should have, like I agree, like a strong like power, like United States, China, like all of them sit around the table with the Israeli and Palestine. We say, listen, we're gonna have like a pathway to like a pathway to a peace plan. Israel gonna do the first step this, Palestinian are gonna do that, like Israel gonna do this, like it's gonna be like a long process until like you build trust one upon another and like but you know we will do that, but then like Hamas will send like suicide, like it's I don't you know what.
Songs. Just quick question. Just quick question. In a video game, obviously. So we want to address Palestinian education, right? And we want them to not say those mean things in their books. So I assume you're also not okay with us destroying like houses of terrorists, right? And their family houses.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I
don't
thought
think
so.
I don't think it helps to like. It feels like, you know, like somewhat justice. Like you know, you're getting justice for like what the kill. But I don't think it like helps in any way to deter terror attacks. So I think it might like even increase. So
Okay,
I don't know how I feel
yeah.
about that.
I mean, it's
So
not
I
that's not
think-
even a
I
crime
think-
anywhere else, right? Like if you do a crime, you don't really get your house destroyed or your family's house. That's like really unusual.
I think
Not
both
very
sides
not
need
very
to stop.
It doesn't really wait. It's not really like becoming of the only democracy in the Middle East and shit, right? To be behaving like that. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Like for me, it's like if you like literally killed like a civilian, destroying your house is like it's not like an insane like punishment.
Yeah, but it's
that.
not your house; it's your family's house, right? Like
No,
as well.
it's no. If let's say if the family cooperates with like the authority in Israel and they don't like support what the son did and they try to stop him, blah blah blah, their house does not get demolished.
Like if I murder
That's not true.
someone, I go to jail, the house keeps standing, right? Oh, why the fuck you destroy the house?
Yeah.
It's weird.
I agree. Again, I don't know how I feel about
backwards
that.
shit.
Else.
For me,
The
like
only
when
thing Israel can be doing.
yeah, sorry, go.
I'm saying it's a weird thing, obviously, but it's the only thing Israel can do because there's no effort or want to end it on the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they-
wait, no. We had this discussion before, and then we say, well, why would you do things that exacerbate the situation? Oh, because there's nothing else we can do. Like, this is dog
No,
shit reasoning.
Yeah,
Fuck
it's
you.
bad.
Get
Right?
the fuck out of here,
It's-
dipshit.
Right
All right.
about-
Oh my
Yes.
god,
Okay.
Lorbox, you need to chill, dude. Like, come on.
I just don't. That guy's funny. Okay, I like triggering him. All right.
Also, but like
Yeah.
the reason I brought that up is because you can't whine about Palestinian
Yeah.
education where everything we do makes it very reasonable for them to hate us on a very fundamental level. Wait, shut up. Do I support propaganda? No, I fucking don't. The problem is, even if they didn't do propaganda, we do so much shit. This really doesn't matter. Their books are not the fucking problem, dude.
So one of the reasons also Israel destroys houses is that Palestinians have a fund for martyrs, right? They pay the families of the martyrs like a sum, like from like the tax and from like the money they get from like outside help. Like they pay their families funds. So it's like promoting. So if you want like also an action from the Palestinian side, it's like yeah, if they like stop the funds, I think Israel should definitely stop the house demolitions.
Okay, so quick question. Did we demolish any houses from the guys who burned down Hawara?
Yeah, I think it's very
No,
shameful.
the-
I think it's very shameful that there
Mhm.
were no arrests made for what happened in Hawara. I think it's
Yeah,
very
there were
shameful.
no arrests made. Do you know why that is?
Because we have a very nice government right now.
Yes, but not right now. Israel doesn't care about Jewish terrorism.
No,
You
we
know
do. Like
that. We do
there
not.
hold on. There were Jewish terrorists that were arrested and were persecuted and get sent for a long time in jail. Like there was the murder of that Palestinian kid where they burned him, I think, after the
Yes,
murder of
that one famous case
was
where
arrested.
they burnt a child.
The kid that the burning of the family home as well. I don't remember where it was.
Yes,
but
the
he
second
also,
famous case where they murdered a baby. Yes.
the kid that threw a rock at a Palestinian woman, like at a car, and she died. He also was arrested, right? But
Okay.
that's only 3 examples off the top of my head. So Israel does not only not give money to the terrorists, they arrest and punish them. As
Oh my God! They arrested 3. Let's say they arrested 10. Let's say they arrested 100.
there's not a lot of
Okay.
a terrorist example like
That is not true. That is
caused
not
murder.
true. You are lying.
You are lying. Okay, listen. I think
Damn.
we can wrap things up, right? I think like we talked a lot. We can wrap things up.
Wrap
Again,
it up.
I advocate for like bringing both sides kind of together, like demanding for Palestinian change as well as the Israelis. And yeah, Israel has things that it can do better, especially like with the current government. Like, yeah, like Hawara is a great example where like settlers literally like did almost a pogrom like on the Palestinian population. Doesn't matter what.
Not almost. It was a pogrom. It
Yeah,
was an
doesn't matter
almost.
what the reason was for that.
Yeah,
Like
fine.
they,
I have a question. Would you spend any of the effort you just spent right now arguing with me and Katie, talking to anyone in Israel and trying to like get them to stop doing what they're doing right now? Would you expend anywhere near the same level of energy?
so I do this because it's fun for me, not because like I
See. So
like
you
yeah,
only-
for
you only,
literally for entertainment purposes. But yeah, I do talk with my friends about it. I don't really go out and advocate or stuff like that. Yeah, I'm
amazing.
You're not protesting against the Supreme Court? Shift.
nope.
Do you
I'm
think you
lazy.
are like the average Israeli?
Yeah, I'm pretty much like in my political views, I'm center, maybe a bit left leaning. That's my like.
Yeah, I'd argue
Because-
you're pretty left
So you're like
compared to the
yeah.
general population.
you're just here to vibe, right? This is just fun for you, right?
You need to understand that war thongs is what the Israeli left currently has to offer to the world.
Yeah, that's
That
why
is
I just
what-
don't
what
feel
Israel
too.
is.
That's why I don't feel too confident about this kind of like trying to hold their hands through the process. I feel like we've never done this in the past as well, right? I don't think there was that much debate over how, like in South Africa, how do we like sort of ease the. I know it's not the perfect comparison. There's differences, but it's not like we're talking about how do we ease the Boers or the like British people there into people being a bit more like accepting. No, it's like there's pressures put on them, right? And it's the same thing with like any of these situations. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
Well, you
if
won't have to worry about that too much because
if
it's
you're
not
gonna-
going to be a democracy soon. So
War thongs, you say like
I
you
talk with my
say
friends about it, but I don't.
you're
have
okay,
groups to
your
represent.
friend. Wow. I'm
Something
very
like that.
happy.
I'm
you're friends.
not a like. Listen, I'm not an advocate. I'm sorry. Like, not. What can I do?
Why are you here?
I don't know. Just have a conversation. Like, why is it so crazy for you?
Yes, you're wasting a lot of your precious time in life. Like what?
Yeah, I have work tomorrow.
The thing is, you're going like both sides need to do something. Both sides. What are you doing with your time? You're spending all
You
this
know what?
effort here.
Lorbox,
doing
I want
nothing.
20% of your profit, and I'll be your personal advocate in Israel. I'll go out on the streets and
I don't make any money. What the fuck are you talking
I don't know
about?
if I don't know if I'm going to be accused of sending my best advocate if I send you, but
Send Kate.
I don't know.
Send Kate.
Have a conversation at the water cooler with.
I talk to
I
Palestinians.
just
like,
you seem
why
like
why
I'm
do I
very
talk to
confused.
Palestinians?
Do
Peace
you
process.
want to be? Do you want to be here? Do you want to be here? Like you seem so. You're for like hours. We've been talking about this.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in I talk to Palestinians. Why do I talk to Palestinians? Peace process. Why do I do
you
that?
tell them that they need to both
It's fun
side it.
for
No,
you,
no,
and you're
I
like,
don't.
when
I don't.
you're weird. Like, let me tell you, this is weird. You know, it's like you talk to what the people your country oppresses for fun,
I don't
just for the
make
shits
fun
and
of them.
giggles.
Oh shit!
Are you crazy? No, I'm trying to understand their point of view. It's interesting for me to understand. Like, to
Why?
understand, like,
Yeah, because it's interesting. It's fun, right? You said it was fun.
it's interesting for me to understand. Like, for me, understanding that how the other side think and what does it want, like how that did it react to what we did. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah, but
interesting for me.
to what end? To
I
what
live
end?
here, like, what?
Intellectual
end?
curiosity.
Yeah,
So-
like you're into like.
So
Come on.
I cannot like talk to Palestinians unless I do advocacy. Like, I have to like go on the streets and like shout from the top of my life. Like, I have.
Listen, I just think it's strange that you're spending hours of your life, you know, like, and all this energy, like, just on intellectual curiosity, right? And you're saying, okay, both sides need to be pressured. The Israeli government needs to stop doing this and that, but you're not willing to even like spend. Go beyond talking to your coworkers at the water cooler about this
Dude,
stuff.
okay.
Like
I donated like to Palestinian charities in Gaza. Okay, like I did stuff like right that I think like are good things. I just not an like I don't advocate. It's like and I find like conversation about the Israeli-Palestinian process interesting, but it's not. It's like a taboo thing to do. Like I do talk with my coworkers a bit, but not really like to go deep in that, like, because it's a taboo thing to talk about. It's not, you don't like, I have Arab Israeli coworkers, like I'd love to talk with them about it, but it's like it's not a nice conversation to have with people you work with and stuff like that. I have Arab coworkers, right? Like, I'd
Because
love to
you're
work
part
with
of
them.
the group that oppresses them.
no,
For
no,
me,
because it's like
for
it's
me,
like they
for me,
feel
I
like
just-
obliged to answer like in a certain way. It's like, you know, because they talk to me and
Maybe because they weren't obligated to talk that way, you would say they need to do more work on like how to educate themselves and stuff.
no,
You know?
no,
No? Okay.
no. I think that the people I work with are like wonderful human beings. They don't support murder of people. I think the people who do like think that it's okay and it's understandable, they need to get checked out. It's not okay. It's not understandable. Like, to support violence and murder is not okay. You can understand why it's happening. That's fine. You can understand why it's happening, but it's not something that is like morally okay. That's fine. You can see where it's coming from. It's fine to understand, like, yeah, occupation also causes it, but it's also the education that you get.
I just think like from where I'm looking at this, you know, I'm here because I wanna make an argument to people or get people to see or see the reason in advocating for my policies and to kind of prevent narratives that I think are harmful to me and my person and my family and things like this. And you're just doing this for like to intellectually stimulate yourself. I just
Better than
You-
sexually
listen.
stimulate himself.
Yeah,
this
wait, whoa,
You
whoa, whoa.
are the better person, okay? I'm just an asshole. You are like the better person here, okay?
I guess it's like I don't. Like I don't. As weird as it is, like I don't really think people should really be like obligated to be like politically active if they believe something. But like, yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
You seem
if you're
to.
gonna spend,
It's more
like,
just like
2 hours on a panel
yeah.
talking about
That's what I'm saying. It's more like from like one human being to another. Like it seems like you get something out of this. So it's like you channel that
Sexual
somewhere.
gratification.
Bro,
Yeah,
hey.
it's just fun for me. Like yeah, it's interesting for me to see other opinions, to challenge my own opinions, to see like, okay, maybe this is like, I don't know. It's like interesting to like challenge your own opinions, see what other people think.
I
like,
just think that
yeah.
you say you're like this okay, you're this whatever lefty dude or whatever. And maybe I'm not sold on that, but in your own world, you believe you're some like lefty.
He is a lefty in Israeli standards.
Right.
I
but
am not
anyway,
super. I'm not
like
super left,
where
but
if,
yeah, I'm
like
left.
if you're so opposed to some of the things Israel's doing, it's people like you who just decide to do nothing. That's the reason why, because the
vote.
other side is more motivated
I vote.
than you. That's why they win.
I vote.
You vote. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I try to get people like to vote.
The other side is more voted. The reason you lose is because the other side is more motivated to win. That's why.
And
You
there
vote,
were
okay?
there were
That's it.
lots of people at those Supreme Court protests. Did you not get invited
Yeah.
to it?
It's mainly I mean, I would go if my friends would like be down to. I talked like again, it's like I just don't want to go like by myself. It's not like really like a fun thing to me. I want to go to the pros, right? Like for me, like I want to check a V that I've been to a protest. I've never been to a protest. I just want to do that one time, see how it is.
Yeah.
As an experience. Honestly, that's what I want to do. See how it is.
You know what?
But like,
That's no way. That's based. You should do that and then tell us about your experience the next time you're on stream.
okay, I'm flying.
It's most likely you'll
today.
want to go again.
Okay, we'll see how it is. Let's see how the protest is. I mean, I support the protest, right? Like, definitely. I just don't. I wouldn't hate a person that like. Again, I wouldn't hate like an Israeli that like does not support or does support it. I don't have like strong opinions about like disliking someone because of his political views unless you call for violence on people.
I mean, to be fair,
Alright.
I guess that kind of like talking about it online, but being inactive IRL is like it's very left wing at least. Okay.
So true.
Does anyone else have anything to say?
Yeah, Beast, if you feel down for it, like I would like to message you and maybe we can have a chat if you're down with that.
Sure, go ahead.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks, Loner
Alright.
Box.
That's
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
In conclusion, support Palestine even more, okay? Agree with me, and that's it. I gotta go to the gym. Goodbye.
Have fun.
Base. All right.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.